And we are live. Welcome to the Political Orphans. My name is Nico, and I am your in-house conservative. To my left, Rob Ambrose, our token lefty. And together, we go through what's going on in the news. Our goal is simple. We want to show you that it's possible for someone from the left and someone from the right to get along. And even if we don't agree, you know what we do? We have a civil conversation like normal human beings, because remember, common sense has no political affiliations. What's going on, brother?
Good day, sir. How's it going? How's everybody doing today?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Yeah?
You?
Good.
Yeah.
Looks got the camera. Looks like your setup's getting dialed in here.
Yeah, I finally got my desk yesterday, so I was able to have an actual work platform. And tonight, hopefully, I get those bookcases so that I can show you guys how smart I am by putting my books in the background.
Yeah.
Not that I can read, but at least, you know what? One thing I've learned in sales, bro, is that it's not really what you know, is what you seem to know. What can I convince people that I know? And as long as I sound somewhat intelligent, people tend to believe me. So there you go. So hopefully putting the books in the background will convince you that I'm a lot smarter than I look. Okay, a lot. That doesn't say much.
If you say something, you talk a lot of bullshit, but with confidence, and people will believe you for sure.
Yep, 100%, and I attest to that. I've been doing it for years.
That's the story of your life. Both of us.
Before I forget, I wanted to tell the people out there that tomorrow we will have somebody interesting on the show. His name is Chris Dacey. I don't know if you follow anything in Canada right now. One of his video just did 1 million views on X alone. And he was in Ottawa last week at one of the Free Palestine protests. And he was recording the protests, and one of the main guys that repeatedly is there, he's wearing full mask, he has the Hamas handband, smacked his cell phone out of his hand right in front of the RCMP. Sorry, not the RCMP, my apologies. In front of the Ottawa police. Nothing. Not only did they do nothing, but as per what he says, they pushed him out of the way. Like the police pushed the reporter, Chris Dacey, out of the way and just acted like nothing happened. Like they basically blamed him for the actions of the other guy. So he's going to be on the show tomorrow, 12:30 Eastern. We're going to have him on for probably 15, 30 minutes, somewhere along those lines. We're going to talk about what happened. So if you want to hear his side of the story, if you haven't seen the video, maybe I should play it to give you an idea. I'll play it at one. You want me to play it now?
At some point during the show, if you got it there. Do you have it handy? I'd like to see
No,
it.
but it's pretty.
So Jason, that means you got to be on your best behavior.
Well, you know what? We're gonna have to see if that's how we're doing it tomorrow. That's gonna be
you said, how long is he gonna be here? You said he's only gonna be here like 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. Okay, so
I'm really I'm really just trying to do like some of the news platforms, they will have somebody show up during the show. He's not there the whole show. We're not there to talk for 2 hours. I just want him to go through what happened. If he can explain to us, like give us information for whoever's there. Obviously, we want to run a bunch of comments. I want you guys to get involved. That's the whole point, is to be able to hear his side and for you guys to interact with him. So that's kind of my idea with this.
Prairie, good morning. Good day to you.
It's the same thing as you see at the bottom. One of the subject I want to talk about today is what's his name? Hold on. Chiang. What was his first name? Paul Chiang. Paul Chiang, that just resigned over some comments that he made about his conservative counterpart that is running against him right now. I reached out to him. I reached out to Joe Toy, and I would love to have him on, because you'll see later, we're going to talk about it if you're not aware of what's going on. But I would love to have him on to explain what it feels like to be. What that was like. Yeah, man, because to me, that is just absolutely insane. Just insane.
So Chiang did resign. He's no longer running.
No, he's no longer running. But what's interesting, though, is that although Chiang resigned, and we're going to talk about it today, Mark Carney saw no problems with his comments. He had, and you know what? You know me, I dig deep into Carney's past. I pulled up some videos of comments he has made in the past before being prime minister. And I'll paint a picture as to why he had no problems with Paul Chiang saying what he said. And to him, he should have stayed there. That's what Carney was saying yesterday. He had no intentions of getting him out of the race, which absolutely insane if you ask me. But you'll see, I pulled up some good videos to show you guys a bit of the Mark Carney hypocrisy. That's going to be part of our Canadian update, Canadian election update, I guess we can call it. And, might as well just say, I want to talk about Virginia Giuffre.
I have no idea how to pronounce that.
Yeah, me neither,
I was
man.
like, Giffy?
Me neither.
Is it a soft G or?
Yeah, I have a British video, so they probably say it properly since I believe she's British.
Yep.
But the point is that I want to talk about her. If you don't remember who she is, you'd remember the picture. If you look at the thumbnail, you remember that picture. This was the number one picture that when Epstein got arrested, you can see that's Prince Edward. That's right there. And you have Maxwell, Epstein's handler in the background.
Yeah, there's no doubt. There's no, I don't think there's anyone who doubts that she was an Epstein victim. And I think she was kind of given to Prince Andrew regularly. And she's the one that's directly related to or connected to him and why, what brought him down. So yeah, there's no, that part's not a conspiracy. She was trafficked by Epstein. That there's no question about any of that.
I'm happy to hear you say that because I agree 1,000,000,000%, obviously, but I'm kind of a conspiracy theorist in the heart. So, but at the same time, it's, let's not go into too much detail. I just wanted to give what we're going to talk about, because believe me, we're going to talk about enough of this. But the point is that we got an update. She's in the hospital right now, and she says she only has 4 days to live, because of an accident that happened while she was in Australia. So that's where she lives. I wanted to give an update on the Tesla firebomber attacks. Remember, there was 2 guys in Loveland, Colorado that that bombed the car, and the other ones threw some cocktail Molotovs. Well, one of them is getting easy. Both of them are really in trouble. So we're going to review what Pam Bundy had to say yesterday about them, the U.S. attorney. I also want to see, remember those guys that actually vandalized the Tesla location in Montreal, where they're at it again? They did it in Ottawa.
I saw that.
So I want to show that video. Here is a video here is something I wanted to talk about that will probably bother a lot of people here, because it is about Trump cutting some of the funding to Planned Parenthood. If you've been on the show before, you know how I feel about abortion. That is not something I have no problems to say that I do not like abortion. It should not happen. But this is not the point. This is not here. I'm not here to push that value on you. I just want to talk about what Trump did and kind of put it into perspective about what's happening and what we could do instead of funding Planned Parenthood. We obviously want to talk about Paul Chiang because this is trending on X right now everywhere. It doesn't matter that it's Canada or the US. This is trending, and I'm going to try to explain it to you why Carney didn't seem to care. And the last thing I wanted to talk about is what you suggested yesterday, Marine Le Pen. Yesterday we ran out of time, but it seems like there's been more updates. Now she has been found guilty. And we're going to explain to you why it matters. I even found a video of Trump talking about it. So I got 3 videos when it comes to Marine Le Pen, what actually happened, who she is, what happened, what does it actually mean for 2027? Because for the people that are not versed in international politics, this is messed up. What's happening to Marine Le Pen is fucked up, really fucked up. and Trump talks about it and kind of makes reference to himself. Obviously, he finds a way to do that. I don't think any of us are surprised by. But what he said, actually, I agree with him. And then there's a girl called Eva with a last name about this long. It sounds German. I got no clue how to pronounce her name, so I'm not going to try. But she used to work for the French Parliament, and she has a very interesting view on what's going on with Marine Le Pen. And she has like 1 million followers. So obviously her people respect her opinion. So I got a video about that. But as you can tell, we got a fucking bomb show. Like it is
busy
filled
show.
with stuff. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Not the type of stuff we could cover with Jason here. That's for sure. No. We would not be able to run through all of this with Jason.
Cheryl, how's it going? Good day to you.
Yeah, what is going on, Cheryl? What's going on?
Hi, Rob and Nico.
Happy to see you, Prairie. Cheryl, happy to see you guys. Hey, let me sing that. Yep, let me sing that in for you guys. It's not done yet, but I was I've had a YouTube channel for about 3.5 years, and I relabeled it for this show, right? I took my old stuff, basically hid everything and relabeled just for the Political Orphans. And since over the past 2 months, I finally was able to get it monetized, which is a big deal to me because I've always been shadow banned on YouTube, but somehow we figured out how to stay on the good side of YouTube by repeating the same thing that we repeat 3-4 times a show. But the reason I'm bringing this up is that we will soon be offering subscriptions. So I just want to put it out there because both Rob and I have a coaching business, but let's be frank here. I spend at least 6 hours a day getting ready for this show and recording. So this is basically my full-time job. Between the 6 to 8 hours I spend every day, this is my full-time job. And I have a part-time job that pays for the bills type of deal. But it is something that we'd like to do, is to offer subscription to you guys to show support. If you want to do it, all good with us. If you don't, all good with us too. This is not going to change the type of show that we do, but we would appreciate your support because at the end of the day, both Rob and I run a coaching business on our side, like a consulting business. Have nothing to do with each other. It's just, it turns out that that's what he does too.
Yeah, we'd like to be able to do this probably full time, right? In that,
not probably. I would love to be able to do this full time.
Yep.
Start a team where we can have better videos put out there, the content that looks better. It wouldn't look like we're in our parents' basements anymore. So
yeah. That's essentially what any money would go into is to investing back in the show. And it isn't going to be anything a couple bucks a month maybe, but again, this is just something we're just putting the word out there for now, and just a way that we can hopefully keep increasing the quality of the show, and keep doing what we're doing,
and reach more people. Because I got to tell you, it would probably just end up being in promotion for now. Just run ads on our videos so that we can attract more and more people to join the madness that is the Political Orphans.
That's what it's for now. Like, I don't think either of us are looking for like salaries or anything like that right now. We just want money to reinvest back in the show. Cheryl, my daughter and I are waiting for the mobile vet. Looks like the cat's got food poisoning. Other than that, I'm a little tired. Well, sorry to hear that. Yeah, hopefully that works out for you. But and she says full-time would be awesome. I agree. I mean, this is, we love doing this. We love being here with you guys. And if we could do this full-time and be here with you guys full-time, that would be pretty much our dream come true. So that's all we're doing with that. It's just starting to shift shift into that direction. We're just putting the word out there for you guys now. So nobody's blindsided down the street. But again, as Nico said, nothing is going to change regardless. We're certainly not going through the list and looking like, oh, you didn't pay $2 a month.
We're not talking to you.
Yeah.
That's not the show at all.
No.
And we're not here to fundraise, as in, if you want to show support, we appreciate it, but everything would be reinvested in the show in order to get this out to more people. Because Rob and I fully believe that we need this type of show, that we need this to be out there because people are political orphans. Like that's why him and I
There's a lot of
started
us out
doing
there.
it. And yep, and we just want to show people like we do every day that not only can we laugh at ourselves, but we're able, Rob and I, to have conversations even if we don't agree, especially
Yep.
if we don't agree. And that applies to our comments. Joe Stradamus can be, he's not there right now, but I can tell you that he can attest to that.
Absolutely.
Anything else you want to add to this?
No, I think, and just again, as always, you know, one of the main ways you can support us right now is just like and share the stream, especially if you're on X. Just get more eyeballs towards us, help to build this community. But other than that, you know, we get biggest thing is just being here and engaging and interacting. And again, we appreciate that every single day. So let's get at it.
So first, let's ask you the question of the day. The question is simple. You guys might not realize who Virginia Giuffre. Fuck, who's Jeffy? No, that is not the same. Sorry, not the same person, but Jeffrey. Do you believe her or not? Do you think that she's telling the truth, or do you think that she is just looking for attention? Because I'll show, you know what, before, let me just show the picture because I had it on the thumbnail that I made this morning. So just let me show you the picture so that we're all on the same page as to who this girl is, because you'll recognize her. You might not know her by name right now, but I guarantee you that if I show you this right here, let me put that right there, you'll understand exactly who she is. Do you remember her? Like this picture.
Yeah, that's a famous picture.
Oh, it was the #1 picture when Epstein got caught. That was the first one because that is a young Prince Edward right there. And as you can see, that's Maxwell, Epstein's handler. Is she dead? I can't remember if that woman
She's in
is still
prison
alive
now. I don't
think.
I think she's still alive. Yeah.
Yeah. And there you have, that is Virginia today compared to when she was cleared. I think she was 15 years old at the time of the picture where she's appearing with Jeffrey, not Jeffrey, sorry, Edward.
Andrew.
Prince Edward.
Prince Andrew.
Oh, why did I say Prince Edward? Oh, man. I have Edward at the bottom. That is a bad mistake from my side.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Can you fix it while we go?
Who the hell do you think you're talking to, bro?
So while you're doing that, I guess I'll take a crack at the question of the day. So and the reason I said at the beginning of the show, like, you know, that the part that she was trafficked by Epstein, there's no doubt about that. There's nothing conspiratorial about that. This part, I think I have a few doubts. Did you hear recently that the Australian police in the area where the accidents have occurred has no record of
you'll see. I found a video. I have 2 videos to show. One actually talks about this. This is why I wanted to show 2 of them, which I found that to be very interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting. If that's the case, that's interesting. But at the same time, this is how conspiracy theories work.
Yeah. And on the other hand, I mean, she's clearly beaten up and banged up. The 4 days to live thing, that sounds a little weird. I can't really picture a doctor saying that. I don't know.
It's also something that's being questioned. You'll see. I got 2 videos about this, and you'll see. There's a reasoning to my madness. There's a reason why I took those videos. Okay. So you'll see. We'll start with this one. Yeah, man. Let's take a few of the comments that we have right now, and then we'll get started. See, Prince Andrew. See, I don't know why Edward.
Very nice. Cheryl says, I think your timing is perfect. People like me are tired of the fight and separation. Yeah, exactly. And there's a ton of political orphans out there. People who just want to talk about the issues without without a lot of the partisanship, a lot of the tribalism. And that's essentially what we're trying to do here. Prairie says, can I make a suggestion? As I'm scrolling, I never see anything about your next show. If you schedule it kind of after this one for tomorrow, there's 24 hours for people to see and hit the notify me button. I'm not sure what exactly.
I know what she's talking about, as in she's never notified for the next show that we're going to do tomorrow. The problem,
Is
the
that a button?
problem is
something
that
we can do?
no, but it's more than that. It's just the issue is that there's no way for us to know what tomorrow's show is going to be about because I literally get up around 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, and I start researching what's going on. I have an idea.
Well,
I have
it's pretty topical.
subjects.
Mhm.
Exactly. So it's very hard for me to do it. I don't know how it will get. So can I make a suggestion? As I'm scrolling, I never see anything about your next show. If you schedule it kind of after this one for tomorrow, well, tomorrow you kind of know the only, you know what, let me because there could be a way to keep it generic, just to say that,
There is a button. I mean, we know when the next show will be. We just don't know the
of course.
exact topic. I wonder, like, there is a button, a notify button that you can press where every time that account makes a post, you get a specific notification. Perhaps we should try to push that. I'm not.
You know what? Text me later about this because this is not the place to actually start researching it. But thanks, Prairie. We're always good to suggestion. Your question today is: do you believe that Virginia Giuffre, the person that the accuser of Epstein and Prince Andrew, the person that I don't know if you saw the picture, but I can. You'll see her in a minute, but she was the most popular one. The picture of Prince Andrew, her and Maxwell went viral. Like she was a 15-year-old kid back then. And all I'm asking today is, do you believe that she is right? That she's telling the truth, both back then and today? Or is she just looking for attention? That's the question we have for you.
And if you're not sure specifically what we mean, she was in a car accident just a day or two ago. We're going to get to that in a second. Just wait till we get to that, and then you'll have a little more. But yeah, she tweeted out a picture of herself bruised and beaten, and said, I think the implication is that she was like run off the road, right? Like that, like people are trying to silence her or kill her.
She was ran into by a bus as she was making a turn. You'll see if you give me. Oh yeah. Her allegations are out there, but considering what happened to her in the past, it's because basically there has been no consequences for Prince Andrew whatsoever. He just disappeared, like we were talking about last week with Jason. He just disappeared. He went into hiding. Now we're starting to see him again. But outside of that, there has been zero legal consequences to him. She was bought out. She received a massive settlement that we do not know how much. So for me to think that it's just her heysay, that she's just trying to get attention, I don't see it. She's been paid off already. So I don't know. You know what? At this point, I don't know. How about we play the first video? I got two of them to show. Let's start with the first one. It's in the British English.
Virginia Giuffre, a woman who accused Jeffrey Epstein and Prince.
Hold on. I got
Giuffre, though. That's how
Giuffre.
Giuffre.
Yeah, I am not pronouncing it properly, but this is not the right one because I'm pretty sure that it was a British.
Now is News Corp columnist Angela.
That's the one.
Angela, great to see you. Let's start with the news just in today. The woman who accused Prince Andrew of sexual assault says that she has 4 days to live after a car accident. Now, in a post to Instagram, Virginia Roberts explains that she was hit by a school bus as she was slowing down to take a turn, and she said she's being transferred to a specialist hospital. What can you tell us?
That's right. This post is quite odd. The picture of her is deeply alarming. She's battered and bruised, and as you say, she says that she's got 4 days to live. Now, this has been confirmed by her spokesperson, but WA police, according to several sources, have said that they've got no knowledge of a bus and a car and a crash over the last few days. So really
And this is what you were referring to earlier,
Mhm.
right? That
Yeah.
that she claims this, and as you'll see, they will in the next video, you'll see it goes more into detail about the Instagram post and everything. But I wanted to show this one because of what you said. Because she's literally, even her, the reporter that's there, and I don't know her, like she's mainstream media from Sky News. I kind of like them often, but they're still very left-leaning. They don't tend to believe her, as you can tell, because they've been no report, but at the same time, you got how many people out there don't believe that what she was saying when she was 15 was false, right?
Yeah.
Most of us believe that Epstein did what he did and Prince
Mm-hmm.
Andrew was part of it. This is the belief, and him going into hiding kind of shows a bit, it shows that something's fishy, right?
Yeah. I mean, again,
Here,
like,
of course.
sorry, you really got to separate the two. I don't think there can be any doubt that what she was saying before, or at least in my opinion, I don't have any doubt what she was saying before was correct.
Yep.
And you're right. Andrew, I mean, I'm sure he feels like there's been consequences because he's been embarrassed and the royal family has shuffled him, but that's not real consequences, right? He's still a wealthy man. He still has extreme privilege. He still can do whatever the fuck that he wants. There aren't any real, consequences for the rich and famous are different for me and you. And I think that's the problem. But, yeah, so I think, I mean, I want to believe her because I definitely do believe her that she was sex trafficked by Epstein to Prince Andrew when she was just a child. I think it started when she was 14. And even if as an adult now, she's a bit messed up, and let's just, for the sake of this argument, let's say this is made up. I'm willing to cut her a whole lot of slack because of what happened to her when she was a child, but not saying that it is made up, but that's sort of where I'm at. I think it's a little like, car accidents do happen. If you're going to try to kill her or get rid of her or silence her, I feel like there's probably more efficient ways to do it than ram a bus into her. But, who knows?
Although that would be the perfect, that would be the perfect way to make it look like it wasn't an accident.
Yeah, true.
Not everybody can be Clinton.
Of course, she had a massive payout from the palace. This was before the Queen's Jubilee. She wanted that issue with Prince Andrew to go away. But we also understand that Virginia's marriage has just broken up in recent times. So it's an evolving story. There's a lot in London. There's a lot of interest in this in London, obviously, with fans and friends of Prince Andrew going pretty tough on this one in terms of, claiming she's a fake and that sort of thing. So it's hard to comment on it in too much detail at this stage without, more detail.
Yeah, and some.
What's interesting about this, and I have another video, but before I do, I just kind of want to give an opinion here, because what I find funny is that during the Me Too movement, you had to believe everything women said. Now they're like, oh, well, that does not align.
Yes.
We're fans of Prince. It's the same people that said we
absolutely
need to believe women and men like me are the problem. We've all done something wrong. We need to be shamed. But do not talk about Prince Andrew and the accusations that he was a pedophile or he is a pedophile. Don't you dare. Don't you dare talk about Prince Andrew.
Well, it's just so much to the left, right? They have their values until their values are turned at them, and then it changes completely. Like, because obviously, in my wheelhouse, I really cut my teeth talking about the trans issue, and it's the same people, that a couple of years ago were saying believe women, believe women. Now women are telling them we don't want these men in our bathrooms, in our sports, in our prisons, and the same women who said believe women are like, ignore them, they're not important. So
who
it's
cares, right? Who cares?
Yeah, exactly. So it's very hard to take them seriously. One thing I like right at the end of that clip there, where she's like, Prince Andrew loyalists are coming out hard after her. I completely disagree with that.
No, not even loyalists. Fans. That's even worse. We like pedophiles.
Yeah, fans of a pedophile. Like, come on, man. Like, even if it's proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that she made this up, do you not think the sex trafficking as a 14-year-old might have something to do with the mindset here? And I don't have any doubts that happened, and I don't think anybody does. So, I completely disagree with going after her, because either two things are true. One is, it is true, she's telling the truth, and you should not be going after her. Two, she's lying, but she's probably, because she's so fucked up from being sex trafficked by Prince Andrew, that she doesn't even know, like, you shouldn't go after her then either. I don't like that at all.
Yeah, yep. Me too, bro. Me too. Hashtag me too.
Let's take these here.
Yep.
Just to hear Prairie says, like Princess
Oh,
Di. I mean,
what do you mean? She died in a car accident. That was all her fault. She must have been drunk or something, right?
Well, that's what they said. They said the driver was drunk.
Of course he was, obviously.
Memorino, yes, of course. Memorino says, all this Epstein stuff is very frustrating. We're told we're going to find out the truth, and we know next to nothing. Well, maybe one day. And I don't think we ever will. There's just too many powerful people. There are too many powerful people. Like, we just got the JFK files released, a month ago, after 50 or 60 years, right? They were going to wait until every single powerful person dies, and then wait another and then wait another 20 years, and then we might see something. It's and it is frustrating, and it shouldn't be partisan. I don't think anybody nobody doubts that Epstein was a sex trafficker to the rich and famous. I don't think anyone with any brains thinks he committed suicide. And I think everybody understands. It is a little it's annoying for me, because I know that a lot of people on the left, as soon as they see Epstein brought up, they'll just be like, oh, it's a right-wing conspiracy theory. I'm like, okay, there are right-wing conspiracy theories, but this isn't one of them. What is a conspiracy? Are you doubting that Jeffrey Epstein is a sex trafficker? That's not a conspiracy. Like, you could doubt that you believe that he actually did kill himself. Okay, fine. I don't agree with that. I think whatever. But like, the fact that we haven't heard anything about the only reason we even heard about Prince Andrew is because there's fucking photographs of him. You cannot deny it.
Yep.
Everybody else who there's not a photograph of, they are going to protect them. And I think it's Democrats, Republicans, it's right, left. It is everybody.
But that's why we'll never hear about it. This is exactly why we'll never hear about it, because it's bipartisan. They don't want to show that people from the right and people from the left are as guilty. They don't want you to show that this has nothing to do with political parties. This is just very, very bad men that did some very fucked up shit.
Yes.
And Greg Abbott, Hot Wheels Greg Abbott, I'm always going to refer to him as Hot Wheels. But Hot Wheels Greg Abbott, I should have thought about this. He made a great video about this, I think a year ago, and he was explaining how this is how political decisions are taken. They have people from the deep state that will blackmail people. They will find out who's gay. They will find out who has weird fucking tendencies, like being a pedophile, which is not a weird tendency. It's a really fucked up one. But who does drugs, who does this, who does that. And they're going to send people to give them exactly what they need and record everything. That's what he was saying. And I'm a fan of Abbott, love him or hate him. That guy got balls. Like, I understand why he has a wheelchair. It's probably because he can't walk with the massive balls that he has in his boxers. But he was explaining but that's what he was talking about, how people are, when you look at, let's say there's a policy that's voted for and it's bipartisan. He's like, yeah, normally when you have certain people from the opposite camp that are voting for it, that's because they have something they're being blackmailed right now. And he said that live on TV, like, the guy's ballsy. But this is what this shows you, that Republican, Democrats, if the real name came out, you would realize that behind the scenes of who controls the Democrats and the Republican, it would show that it's basically the same people that are controlling them through blackmail.
I have no doubt about that. And you can imagine, once you have a politician, whether it's a senator or a congressman, once you have that politician like fully blackmailed, they are now on your payroll. That's a
100%.
valuable asset. You're going to do everything you can. There's no point, because it probably takes a lot of time, money, and energy to actually turn one of these guys, right? You got to set up the sting. You got to do your research. You got to investigate. You're not going to do that for someone that's only going to be there for 2 years and leave, right? Probably takes you 2 years to do it. So once you have
senators are perfect for that.
Yeah. Well, once you have them, those are probably the guys that are getting all the money from the lobbyists. Because now, you know, like a bought and paid for congressman or senator, that is worth its weight in fucking gold. There's only 100 senators, right? 100 of them. So if you can buy even a third of them, 40%, you can essentially dictate the policies of the United States of America, the most powerful country in the world. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but to believe that there are not entities and people out there that want to do that and would have the means and the ability to do that, that's just being naive to think that isn't a possibility.
But you know, I think it's even more than that. It's a hard pill to swallow, because once again, it's hard for a lot of people to admit to themselves that the government, the guys in power, don't like you. They don't see you as their equal. They're narcissists. They are doing what's best for them, not for you. They don't care about you. And this is what we're seeing in Canada. Like with a guy like Mark Carney, I don't understand how it's possible for Canadians right now to look at Mark Carney after everything he's done over the past 20 years, everything that he says publicly to this day. Just look at his mannerism. Just look at what he says every day, and not look at this guy and say, that guy could not give two fucks about me. He's here to do his thing, he's not doing anything that's for the good of Canadians. And you'll see later on when we talk about Chiang exactly what I mean. But it's just a hard pill to swallow, right? It's hard for people to admit that.
It's hard. It's hard for, I think that there are definitely large elements of the government that are narcissists. I still haven't gotten to a mindset yet where I believe that the government as a whole, as you say, hates us.
But think about it this way. Sorry to cut you off, but think about it this way. If we agree that the Epstein case is a bipartisan problem, as in, you know, that if those books came out, there would be as many Republicans as Democrats part of those lists. And we agree that those people are being blackmailed for what they've done. Like, if we agree, it would be very hard to disagree with this if you've ever looked at politics, right? So if we come from that basis and say, this is what's going on. Now you have a guy like Carney that is literally in power after saying himself that he's a globalist, and he's worked for the WEF. He was on the board. Do you really think he has your best interests at heart?
No, I don't.
But this is my point. Like, I understand what you're saying, but if you start putting them together, you're just like, God damn, he doesn't care about me. That's why I'm saying he doesn't care about me as a person. He doesn't care about Canadians. He has his agenda in his head, and they're all like that. It's not just them. It's not just
I agree with that. I think most politicians, they are more interested with their own interests. I think the best you can hope for as a voter is to try to find the politician who, knowing that they are most likely looking out for their interests, try to find the one whose personal interests, most align with yours. And there are scenarios.
Isn't it fucked that we're at that point? Right?
That you have to think of it like that. It is, right? But it does exist. Like, for example, you could imagine a politician who's like, you know, let's say just a narcissist, but part of their narcissism is they want to be seen as the best prime minister or the best president ever, who have the strongest economy ever. Well, in that scenario, even though they're doing it for their own benefit, my interests are aligned with that. I don't care if you're doing it because you're a narcissist, as long as you make the fucking economy strong. I'm okay with that. But
it's the lesser of two evils, right?
Yeah,
we're really at a point. It's always that. Yeah,
it is hard to find that, you know, where you would like it to be vote for someone because you know can tell that they give a shit about you. But I think that ship has sailed.
We agree. Let me bring up the next video I wanted to show. It's still about Virginia Giuffre. How did she say it earlier? Because I'm bastardizing again.
I think it was Giuffre. Giuffre?
Oh, Giuffre. Hold on. Let's see. Let's see.
Virginia Giuffre, a woman who accused Jeffrey Epstein and Prince Andrew of sex crimes, now says.
There you go. It's gonna piss off Jason because she's a Jew. Giuffre. Oh, Jason.
Why do you say?
Virginia Roberts.
You know what? Hold on. You're right. We should start saying that to. If he's gonna make fun of me for hating women, I'm gonna. Why do you hate Jews so much?
Do you hate Jews?
Virginia Roberts Giuffre, a woman who accused Jeffrey Epstein and Prince Andrew of sex crimes, now says she is fighting for her life after a bus crash. Let's go to our breaking news correspondent, Chanel Call, in the CBS newsroom in New York for more. Chanel, tell us more. What happened?
All right, so in an Instagram post that we saw on Sunday, Virginia Giuffre appeared to look bruised. She says she's in kidney failure, adding that doctors gave her just 4 days to live. Today, Jules, her representative, says she suffered a serious accident and also confirms Giuffre is still receiving medical care in the hospital. Now, as for what happened, Giuffre alluded to this in this post. She says there was a crash with a school bus is what she's alluding to here. She says important to note that when a school bus driver comes at you driving 110 kilometers as we were slowing for a turn, that no matter what your car is made of, it might as well be a tin can. So at this point, Jules, still unclear where the accident happened, but I can tell you that in 2022, the BBC reported that Giuffre lived in Australia with her husband and 3 children. I want to show you that Instagram post again because it goes on to say, I'm ready to go, just not until I see my babies one last time. But you know what they say about wishes. Just to give you some context and background here, Giuffre, she is one of the most prominent accusers of convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Many people will remember her story. She alleged Epstein sexually trafficked her to Britain's Prince Andrew and others while she was a minor. Prince Andrew denied those claims.
Yeah, and Chanel, Giuffre actually sat down for an interview with CBS News back in 2020. So tell us more about her story when she shared that with us.
Yeah, in that interview with our Gail King, Giuffre spoke about how she says she first met Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. She claimed in that interview that Epstein's former girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell, was the mastermind behind the alleged sex trafficking. She also said, quote, she is a monster. She is worse than Epstein. She did things even worse than Epstein did. She was vicious. She was evil. And she's a woman, speaking about Maxwell. During that interview with Gail, Jules, Giuffre also claimed that Maxwell had video of other well-known people that she could incriminate.
All right, Chanel Call, thank you so much.
I believe that 100%.
That would be
That's the whole business
easy
model there, right? That's the whole business model. Is you get famous people to have sex with underage girls, and then you film them. It would be completely against everything they stand for to not film them. So I absolutely believe that's true. I guess we'll wait and see if she's dead in 2 days, 3 days. I mean, okay, there's credibility there. If she pops up 6 months from now, maybe you could say, okay, was it an exaggeration? I'm not convinced that it was. I get the conspiracy theory angle of it. I don't see the need to silence her now. Like she's already spoken out. She's already got her payout. And again, I just think there's easier ways to do it. But when it comes to this stuff, you really can't ever say. I mean, car accidents do happen, but also people do get silenced, and so lots of people commit suicide with their hands tied behind their back, right? That's the thing. So it's as soon as I saw the story, I was like, oh, okay, no matter what, this is gonna be a thing. The conspiracy theory is gonna be all over it. The Prince Andrew fans, fucking pedophile fans, are gonna be all over it. I just feel sorry for the poor girl. I mean, I definitely do not believe that she put makeup on herself to make her look bruised and beaten up. I mean, that looks very real to me. And until I see hard evidence, I'm not going to accuse a sex trafficked young girl of lying about this. I would say I'm not entirely convinced, but I'm also, again, I have a lot of space for whatever she went through. And even if it comes out on no doubt that she made this up, I'm not going to condemn her. I'm not going to accuse her just because of what I know happened to her. I'm going to cut her a lot of slack.
And just so you guys know, her profile is not easy to find. Like her her Instagram profile is not easy to find, but she goes under Virginia Roberts. I guess she changed her name
Oh
because
wow,
it's,
you found it, eh?
yeah,
Yes, Roberts
yeah,
is her married name. That's right. That's right.
yeah. So she's not easy to find. Like I had to dig and dig to find her because everything else that comes up are bigger accounts, but you can tell her account is being shadow banned because she still has just under 20,000 followers. Her account should show up right away, but it
Yeah.
doesn't. So if you guys are looking, her well, I'm gonna start following her. Her account is Virginia Roberts Rising 11. So yeah, man, that's what a fucking story. What a
Yeah.
fucking story that thing is. And it's very hard for me to believe that this is not a massive bipartisan issue that will never get exposed because the people that are really involved in this is too big for us to come to even comprehend, and it goes both sides of the aisle, right?
Oh yeah. There's no doubt about that.
Prairie is saying that we don't get the truth because it's bad. Couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah.
What did you say her name was?
Cheryl,
You said
Cheryl.
How do you know it's Cheryl?
She told
You
us
remember?
the other day. Yeah, I just remember.
Man, you have a good memory. You have a good memory. So Cheryl is saying that she agrees with me. I think you've been told over and over again your whole life is there to serve Canadian. Whoa, Jesus. I think that you've been told over your whole lifetime is there to serve Canadians.
I think she means the government is there.
Yeah, of course. Of course. That's why they call them public servant or civil servant.
Yeah, that part always gets forgotten, right? We still call them public servants, but no one really focuses on that second word there, like servants.
Yeah,
that's the point.
They work for us. We don't work for them.
You can't claim to be a public servant when you go in there, work 40 years, and you have a $250 million net worth when you come out. That is not service. Yeah. That is highly lucrative private contracting, right? That's just that's not service. If you're making $250 million, that's not service.
No, definitely not. And that's why I'm not a fan. I dislike career politicians. I have a big problem with them in general. This should not be a career. Being a politician should not be a career. It shouldn't. Being a public servant should not be. Working for the government should not be a career either. This is something that should have a limited lifetime, like a life, like there should be a life shelf to it.
Absolutely.
And I don't care that you're just doing paperwork or you're the one representing the party. There should be a life shelf to this, and it should not be more than 4 years, maybe 8 tops.
I agree.
Done.
I think that's probably the low-hanging fruit. That's probably the choke point, which to really truly eliminate government corruption is if
100%.
Just term limits. That's it. Because if you think of the founding fathers, they were all citizen politicians. None of them are career politicians. Washington was a soldier. Most of them are just farmers. They designed the government to be run by citizen politicians, not career politicians. And I think one of the things they did get wrong is they probably should have implemented term limits. But I mean, how could they have known, right? Like America was an experiment then. It still is in some ways. But as we were discussing earlier, it takes a lot of time and effort to probably find blackmail on these guys. You got to do the investigating, then you got to set up the sting. And there'll be no incentive to do that if all they're going to do is be gone in 4 years. So just right away, you probably eliminate 90% of like overt government crime. And they'll say like, oh, well, what about the institutional expertise? What the expertise that they learn how to rip off the people? I don't want them to have that expertise. Like that's clearly what happens. Once they get in there for 10, 20, 30 years, they know exactly how to do it. That's the expertise I do not want my politicians to have.
And one of the things that's worth mentioning that it never seems to be said is the age of those people. Like people think because they're old school drawings, they have white wigs, that those people were old. But if you look on July 4th, 1776, the founding fathers,
like
James Monroe was 18, Aaron Burr was 20, Alexander Hamilton was 21, James Madison was 25, Thomas Jefferson was 33, John Adams was 40, Paul Revere was 41, and George Washington was 44. So even for a president today, when Obama became president, he's like, he's so young.
At 40, whatever.
You had guys half his age
Washington
that wrote one of the most fucking important document ever signed in arguably the world politics, like world history of politics.
Yeah. But what an interesting thing, because I think you're right. Not everyone realized how young a lot of they're kids, especially by today's standards.
Yeah.
These are just
Oh, yeah.
kids, right? Like, and it makes you realize how much things have changed. Like, we really have this infantilized society where you can't imagine a 21-year-old being responsible enough to do to set up an entire nation's constitution, and yet they're doing it. Like, what are we doing wrong? What were they doing right?
They had responsibility. That's it. That's what it comes down to. They had responsibility, because I've met quite a few kids that are in their late teens, early 20s, extremely successful businesses already, but they were raised that way. Their fathers was extremely present in their lives, showing them all the skills that they knew, right? So Prairie is saying expertise. Trudy was a drama teacher. Actually, that is incorrect. That is incorrect. He was not a drama teacher. Let me correct you. He was a part-time drama teacher. Let's be accurate. Part-time, not even good enough to be a full-time fucking teacher.
Yeah, and when I say expertise, I mean the people who will argue against term limits. They will say, well, if someone's been a politician for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, they're an expert at it, and we'll be losing all this expertise. And to that, I would say it's the wrong kind of expertise. That's not the expertise that we want. The expertise they learn is how to work the system, how to enrich themselves, and how to sell out to corrupt lobbyists. I don't want that. I don't want that kind of expertise in my politicians.
By the way, this is funny because I'm still on my Instagram and was just about to close it. And then for some reason, there's some stuff that I never get on my phone, but I get on the laptop.
Okay.
This is to show you guys the type of private messages that I get. Like no explanation, no nothing, just a bunch of fuck you.
Trump is a felon.
And here's another one, stupid page. Like I get those things all the time. It's
wow,
just to show you guys. Oh, bro, that's nothing. I get death threat. I get people calling me all the names possible. It's fine. It's part of the deal. None of those little cunts would have the balls to say that to me in real life. So
did you see the clip of the guy? And maybe I try to find it. Who was caught keying a Tesla, and and as soon as the guy caught him, he was immediately like, "Oh!" You could just tell his entire demeanor. He was just like a giant pussy. It was like,
hold on. Let me show you something find the video. If you have it, find the video.
I'll find it
because we should show that at the end of the show. That's funny.
Because you could tell he was like immediately like, oh, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. I'm sorry. It's like,
nope. I'd kick I'd beat you up. Like you would learn to regret you know what your father didn't do to you? I would. If clearly you didn't get spanking, your father was not there for you, I will be your father right now. So yeah. No, this is I'll play your father role right now, but I got another one. If you find it, send it over. Send it over to me.
Yeah, I'll send it to you here.
Because there's another one. There's another one that's absolutely hilarious. It's one of my favorite videos ever made, and it was an Antifa protest where I don't know if you've ever. I'm downloading it right now. You know what? We're in between subjects right now, so let's approach it. Since we're talking about it, send it to me on WhatsApp. I'll play it
right now.
But here's the video. Like this is similar to what you're saying, right? The demeanor is completely changes. Like there's no volume. There's no volume on this video. Oh no, there is. Okay, cool. I didn't think there was, but this is how I see Antifa, BLM protesters, the guys that are going to key somebody's Tesla. This is exactly how I see them. And this video, probably top 5 best videos ever made. You know,
the look on the guy's face.
I gotta replay this because this is awesome. Like that is the type of friend you want to have, right? He's looking at you. The guy turns around for 1 second. Little Antifa guy tries to sucker punch him.
Honestly,
bro,
he probably saved that kid from a felony assault charge.
You know what though? This is where him and I, his buddy there, is very different. Because if somebody did that, let's say you and I, we're outside, we're recording some content, and somebody does that, I'm blocking with the left and the right hook.
Oh
is
yeah,
coming
yeah,
right
yeah,
on
yeah.
top of
Not
it.
just,
Somebody,
not just.
oh no, 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 no. So there's a block on one side. The hip is storked for a bab wing. The right hook's coming on top, and Antifa baby is doing some sleepies.
Yeah. Joe Stradamus is a good
Hey,
comment.
what's going on, bro? What is going on, brother?
Just curious, how do you expect the civil government to handle intelligence and foreign policy issues when nobody's there for more than 4 years? You can have career civil servants. I think that's appropriate to that. I think that's where the preservation of institutional knowledge and expertise lies. They are much harder, I would imagine, to be corrupt. And also it's entirely appropriate to put in checks and balances in those systems. I mean, I understand what you're saying. You can't just completely recycle entirety of government every 4 years. And maybe 4 years isn't the right number. Maybe it's 6, but somewhere between 0 term limits and like there has to be. I just think that you're gonna cut out 80 to 90% of corruption if you put in some form of common sense term limit.
No, but hold on here. I see what Joe's saying. I get it. But at the same time, does that, by this type of mindset, that means that there's no private entity that would ever be successful? Because most people don't work there for a lifetime. Most people cycle through their jobs in the private sector. You know what it's called? It's called fucking training. Before somebody leaves, they train the next person that's going to show up. That's all it is. And this is my biggest gripe with government workers and government entities. They would not be able to succeed if it wasn't for the fact that their budgets were based on taxpayers' money. They would not succeed in the private sector. And this is what bothers me. Like, I've only worked for the private sector, but my whole family are government workers. And I can tell you firsthand, my mother, my sister wouldn't have operated well in the private sector. Zero. They'd make a fraction of their money. And believe me, they'd have to fucking work for a living compared to what I see they do. So no. But again, it's called training. I don't like government, like full-time or lifelong government workers to every level. Now, is it 4 years? Is it 6? Is it 8? I don't know. All I'm saying, there has to be something better than what we're doing right now. There has to be a better solution to prevent people from being blackmailed, from being corrupt, and being able to spend their lifetime taking advantage of it.
Cheryl says, I'll just hit this one here. Cheryl
says, I have your video.
The problem is that the politicians are able to override public servants and unions. Take the mandates that the PM ran on for the 2021 election. Yeah, I mean, there has to be some ability for politicians to override civil servants. Just because if not, then you do have some form of a, if you want to call it deep state, you could call it that. If they know all they have to do is just ignore whoever's in charge and outlast them for 4 years, then that's what they'll do. But yeah, I agree. Like, also, I think there is value in having some of these career civil servants who are, they're supposed to be nonpartisan. They're supposed to be non-political. If you can find a way to do that or to enforce that, then I'm all for that.
But try to convince me that public servants right now are not 90% liberals after 10 years of the Liberal Party being in power, in the same way as try to convince me that CBC is not leftist propaganda after having their 75% of their income provided by the government. Like, you're never going to convince me that they're going to bite the hands that feeds them. Never. They want to keep their jobs, right? So hold on, I got your video here, so let's play that before we get to the next one. I haven't seen this video, so
free service. How about you pay for the repairs? Write a check. You just bought a Tesla.
I can wipe it off.
No,
it's not.
No, it is a hate crime, sir. It is a hate crime. Did you write a swastika on there?
I'm sorry, you're upset.
Did you write a swastika?
It didn't even work.
Like, his whole demeanor has completely changed.
Oh yeah, but he's a big pussy.
Did you write a swastika on the? It's a key, sir. We see it on the video.
It's not a key.
Is it a swastika?
I was probably putting my keys in my pocket.
Is it a swastika?
Have you looked at your car?
Is it a swastika?
Is there a key mark?
Is it
It's
a
not-
swastika?
that's
It's at the
impossible.
police right now. It's being fingerprinted.
What do you mean it's being fingerprinted?
Because they're trying to track you down. Thankfully, Facebook tracked you down. So your business, your freaking livelihood, everything now.
Listen,
because you chose to write so to tell Facebook that you're sorry for writing a swastika on a Tesla.
Listen, I said I'm
He
sorry.
bragged about it.
And I
For what?
apologize.
The guy went online to brag about his crime, and that's how he got caught. Bwarp, bwarp, bwarp.
Yeah.
You
Fucking
fucking
dummy.
idiot. Hold on, he's not done, but God
I have
damn, man,
nothing
what an
against
idiot.
you, and I have nothing against you.
So why
no,
did you
of
write a
course not.
swastika on a Tesla?
Obviously, I have something against Elon Musk, but that's not the
So
way
Elon
to show
Musk
my...
owns that car because
No,
it was
he
bought
owns
and
the
paid
company.
for. It was bought and paid for a long time
That's
ago.
why it's misguided, and obviously, I did not intend to do this.
All right,
sir.
we're gonna wait for the.
You know what? That dude belongs in jail, and it should be consequential. Like,
Yeah.
let's make an
Oh, yeah.
example of a guy like him, put him in jail for a couple of years, destroy his name so that he's never able to get a job afterwards. Because that's what happens when you're a criminal, bro. You're gonna have to flip some burgers for a very long time afterwards. And until we do this, there's not going to be any consequences to their actions. So might as well take a couple. Let's Khalil this guy.
I don't know about. I mean, if what let's say what he says, if it's a crayon, I don't think it should do a couple years. But I do
don't
agree
care.
with.
It's the
I
it's
agree
the
with. I
intent,
agree with
bro.
consequences.
It's the
Give him-
intent. It should sting. It should prevent other people from doing it. So if he, again, that's all on him. Nobody made him do
Oh
this.
yeah. I
And,
mean, there's
and
no.
clearly he's a
nobody made him
bitch.
do it.
Clearly
Oh,
he's a bitch. He's
Oh,
called up, but you look at him like little dad bod, little moobs, not like big stomach. Like that guy ain't fighting anybody. So
No.
if you're gonna do this, be ready to get your ass kicked. If you're gonna damage somebody else's property, be ready to get your ass kicked. Because if you get caught, what do you expect? If it's my car, you're doing that, bro. I'm kicking your ass right there. I'm gonna teach you. I'll sit on your chest. You know, like kids. I'll sit on your chest and I'll smack you in the face gently, just to show you how powerless you actually are. Like just literally make you pee or poop your pants. I won't even beat you up because it's not worth it. It's like beating up a child. You can't do that. But I'll sit on your chest to remind you how much of a bitch you are. Want to take some of the comments before we go?
Yeah. Cheryl says, if you get rid of the corruption and make the same standards as a private sector and make the government smaller, we would be better off. She was a public servant for almost 15 years.
We agree.
And yeah, I've got no issues with public servants. I mean, obviously people are needed to run the government. And that that's the thing. But I agree with you about make the standards the same as the private sector, certainly as it relates to corruption.
100%.
Perry says there's a channel I watch. The guy goes to government buildings to check if they are in compliance with their document. Do you know this guy?
Yeah, he's a lawyer. There's a bunch of them that does it, but he is kind of an ass. Like the guy, if we're talking about the same guy, he is an ass. He does not. When I say an ass, like I'm an asshole. I'm not there to make you feel good and to just regurgitate what you want to hear to make your feelings feel cool. No. That guy shows up, and if he asks for information. I have the right to get that information, so please give me that information. And he always gets trashed for having a camera. He does not care. He does not care.
They call the cops on him.
There you go. So that's probably he's an American. He's not a Canadian. At least the guy I'm talking about is an American.
He's never been arrested because he goes in with the law and shows them how right he is. And how wrong the government servants don't know.
Oh, so he's not a lawyer. I thought he was. But audit them. I'm pretty sure that's the guy. I'm pretty sure we're talking about the same guy. I thought he was a lawyer. I stand corrected. Next video. This I found it this morning. I found it funny. But it goes to, I didn't tell you about this because I found it after we spoke. Okay. But this is kind of the vibe, the cultural vibe switch that we've been seeing under Trump.
Vibe shift.
Yep. And yeah, like the switch that we're seeing, like it doesn't seem the same anymore. So let's play. So I don't know if you heard about this, but Kid Rock, Bill Maher,
I did.
Dana White were at the White House yesterday. They were having dinner, and I just found it cool. I just found it cool to have a guy like Bill Maher, which I like and dislike at the same time, because I agree with some of the stuff. I disagree strongly with some of the stuff, but he's a classical liberal. So I thought it was cool to see Kid Rock.
What happened from start to finish in 30 seconds?
In 30 seconds, I went on Bill's show. I went on his podcast, and I said, man, you know, nothing happens if people don't break bread together and meet face to face. He's been one of the president's hardest critics, and we came to dinner, me, Bill, Dana White, and it could not have been better. Everyone was so surprised, so pleasant. The most shocking thing to me was, you know, Bill's obviously a very big liberal, been very hard on the president, but he's donated a lot of money to other politicians. You know, you've had Biden, Clinton, Obama, everybody. He had never been to the White House, and the president was so gracious. He took us up to the private residence. We saw the Gettysburg Address in the Lincoln bedroom, and I was like, you've never been here, Bill? And I was like, how about this? President Trump, you know, extending this olive branch, and we talked about things we had in common, you know, ending wokeness, you know, securing the border. You know, the president was asking him what he thought about policy, you know, going on with Iran and Israel and things. It just meant, it blew my mind. It was, right. I was, you know, very, very proud.
All right, tell us what happened from start to.
How messed up is
that's
how messed up is it
right
that
there, man.
Bill Maher, one of the strongest proponents, one of the biggest names of the Democrat side, that actually makes sense sometimes. He's about the only guy from the left that I'm like, you know what, bro? I've been in agreement with quite a few things that he said over the past 8 to 10 years. It's not just recent. He's always been common sense. Yeah. But he's never been to the White House, being a massive Obama supporter. And it took Trump to bring a guy that talks shit about Trump. Every show that he's ever recorded over the past 8 years probably talks shit about Trump. Yet Trump is just like, oh, you want to see the cool shit that nobody gets to see? Well, come here, Bill Maher.
That's cool. That's right. I
just wanted to highlight this as a feel-good story, I guess. Like, I see it as a good thing. I see it as a good thing.
I do too. I mean, that's essentially what we're trying to do on this show, right? Bring people together from all walks 100%. Of life, trying to find common ground. I think Maher's probably the only high-profile liberal that's really anti-woke, and I mean, to me, that's how I see myself, and so I've always liked Bill Maher. You know, he's not, you know, you don't have to agree with everything he says, but like he's speaking in good faith. He's trying to get it right, and he'll listen to the other side. And I mean, if we have that, then we can solve a lot of problems together. If that was the common thing. Unfortunately, right now on the left, that is not common. That is not the kind of liberal that is out there. You know, my intent on this show is to try to show that kind of liberals we exist. Bill Maher's not just a circus freak show. There's a lot there is a lot of common sense liberals out there. We just get shouted down and crowded out by the fucking idiots who are loud. And you know, part of this vibe shift, I think, is that some of us are starting to speak up. So I like to see that. That is a good feel-good story. I like that a lot.
Yep, that's why I shared it. I felt that it would make your feelings feel good.
It really felt. I feel like I'm in a safe space because of that story. It feels really nice.
Now let's fuck shit up. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
So here's another thing I wanted to talk about today, and I kind of wanted to give you guys an update on the Tesla attacks, because they're going on. They don't seem to be stopping anytime soon. So just like Mahmoud Khalil, if we're going to get an update, we're going to share it. This is part of those stories that we will continue to share day after day if there's updates. So I found a video of Pam Bundy. Is it Bundy? I think Bondi. So, right? Bondi. Yeah, I'm French, man. Bondi,
same
Bundy.
Thing. Yeah, same.
The U.S. Attorney General. Yeah, exactly. What? Oh,
okay, so let's hit this.
Yeah. What the fuck?
We're both like, what? All right, Taz. Yeah. First of all, great to see you for the first time. I believe this is your first comment. He needs to be told hermaphrodites aren't a thing, not in the mammal world. That came out of Greek mythology. Hello, isn't Maher any of this? I think Maher's not a pro-gender ideology guy. I think I know what you mean. Those of us who are really, gender critical in this debate, we know all the nuances, we know all the things. I think he is not quite as involved as maybe me or you might be, but as far as I understand, he is not. He is pretty much gender critical. He is not. In favor of trans ideology. He may not be sort of up to date with every single thing, but yeah, I think that's my take on Maher. But again, thank you for the comment. Hopefully you stick around. We always love new faces around here.
And Tess, just so you know, Tess, you'll see that if you continue joining us, I will show you videos of people I dislike, I don't agree with 99% of the time, but when they're right, they're right.
Yep.
Now,
absolutely.
So that's the whole point, right? I just wanted to share this video because I was happy to see a guy like Kid Rock and Dana White. They're very non-bullshit type of guy. Like, they will say what they stand for. They don't care that it hurts your feelings. And have a guy like Bill Maher show up there, even as I said earlier, even if I don't agree with a lot of the things that he says, I was just happy to see to start seeing this type of collaboration between the left and the right by a guy that's supposed to be the most racist, vile individual that ever lived, that is Donald Trump, right? But yeah. Bill Maher just saying, I just like the fact that Bill Maher was invited to the White House for the first time, even considering that he was big fans of Obama and Biden. This blew my mind. I'm like, oh, really? You've never been before? That's very fucking interesting. So that's why I showed the video. But I get you, Tess. I'm a Christian, and the fact that he's an atheist, he's not like, we don't have the same morality or the same values. But that I cannot, in all good faith, say that he's not right when he's right. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care who you are. If you're right, you're right.
Fact of the matter is the ability to reach across the aisle and listen to other people. Yeah. That's almost right today. When I see people doing that, the vast majority are on the right. The vast majority are conservatives. Yeah. And as a lefty, as a liberal, we need to change that. I see Bill Maher doing that, and that's about it, right? But it doesn't surprise me that Kid Rock, Dana White, Donald Trump, all those people are willing to talk to someone on the other side. That's the right way to be. I'm just saying we need more liberals like Bill Maher, more people willing to do that.
Yeah, I agree. And again, this is the reason for this show. Like, two guys that are not on the same side of the aisle or are capable of having these conversations, agree or disagree, absolutely. We're still going to have them. So let me go to the Tesla firebombing attacks update, which here is U.S. Attorney General speaking about
at 9 o'clock, U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi announcing another person has been charged with vandalizing a Tesla dealership in Loveland.
We've charged Cooper Frederick in the firebombing of a Tesla dealership that occurred on March 7th in Loveland, Colorado. All of these cases are a serious threat to public safety. Therefore, there will be no negotiating. We are seeking 20 years in prison. The crime was committed in Colorado, and thanks to the great investigative work by the FBI, the defendant was arrested in Plano, Texas.
And the dealership in Loveland has dealt with several cases of vandalism this year alone. Earlier on this month, another person, Lucy Grace Nelson, was charged for allegedly throwing Molotov cocktails at Teslas. Nelson is set for a 3-day jury trial beginning May 5th.
Okay, Lucy Grace is a dude. That ain't a woman. Obviously, this is a left-leaning.
It's a trans, right?
Yeah. And it's not one of those that you could be mistaken. It's not one of those like, you know what, bro? We were in Virginia. I was in Virginia over the weekend, and I can recognize a dude in a dress, no matter how good they look, by this. Hands don't lie. And yeah, it was not one of them. Like, we were in a conversation afterwards, all of us were trying to figure out, was that a dude? Was that a woman? The type of woman we're talking about, the type of dude we're talking about is not one of them. This is just the left doing what the left does.
Big ass dude in a wig, and
it's a dude with a more beard than I have in a fucking dress.
It's so ridiculous.
But they're looking at 20 years, 20 years. Bro.
Now that I agree with, because unlike crayoning a car, this is violence.
Crayoning.
This is violence, man. And that is, we've played the definition of terrorism a few times here, but it is violence in the name of a political act or for to further a political cause, and there's just no other way to view this. So I am glad that they're trying to throw the book at these people.
100% domestic terrorism. If they need to have consequences,
if they don't nip that in the bud, man, that shit is
never
gonna
end.
No,
never gonna end.
And then the right's gonna start responding, and then it's just, you know, who knows? Maybe Civil War, the movie, becomes a documentary.
And you know, before you take that comment, let me play another video, because that was the whole point of this, is to kind of show how hypocritical this is, because right now this is what's happening in the US. So Bondi, right?
Yeah, Bondi.
Bondi. So Bondi is basically going after them for domestic terrorism. We're not talking about keying a car here. We're talking about throwing, like exploding, putting fire, like literally lighting cars on fire. And on the other side of the equation, we look at what's going on in Canada. The same group that was responsible for vandalizing a Tesla dealership in Quebec, in Montreal, Quebec, they've done it again, but now they're doing it in Ottawa. Same tactics, same paint, same crap, but yet nobody's doing anything, and it's clearly in the middle of the day. Like, clearly.
And then filming themselves, they're not worried.
Civil resistance campaign tackling the climate crisis and demanding a climate disaster protection agency. Our government is failing to protect ordinary people. Our government would rather protect the...
You know what? You're right. They're failing in protecting us from crazy people like you. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
The fact that they feel bold enough to just show their faces, but like they clearly, like this. I'm down for a couple years in prison on this for sure.
I'm right there with you, but it gets worse. Like, listen to this half-breed speak.
And large companies like Tesla, rather than ordinary people. Our government is breaking the social contract. Recently, the Trump administration...
Like, what the fuck does that mean? Our government is breaking the social contract. Social contract of what? You're the one breaking the social contract that we have to respect other people's properties.
That's the
social
contract.
You're the problem, you stupid idiot. Like, you're the problem. That's the social contract.
That's wild, man.
Has criticized actions like these. But all it shows is that repression means nothing. It means that they're afraid. It means that civil resistance works. The time for civil resistance is now. Pink paint is nothing compared to the far-right tyranny we're seeing and the climate disasters. Which is why I'm urging you to come and take action with us this spring as we disrupt business as usual, because business as usual is killing us.
Business as usual is killing us. And just so you guys know, this is the insanity coming from the group called the Last Generation Canada. This is the same group that attacked the dealership that vandalized the dealership in Montreal. But you know what I found freaking hilarious? I went on their Instagram page this morning to see some of the comments. Obviously, the video I just showed you comes from their Instagram page. Like, they have no shame. They're not worried about this because they believe that there will be no consequences to their actions. But let me show you their page and some of the comments, man. Some of the comments are people like me. Like, they're trolls that go on their page just to kind of question them. But hold on, there you go. So unlike this guy, I'm allowed to say retarded. So this guy, Andrew Joseph 604 is saying, you people are retarded. Let's tackle climate change while spraying painting an EV company whose owner didn't patent his design so more EV competition can happen. Why not go spray paint the UN building that tore down 8 miles of forest for a new road for a climate conference? Brain rot is real with you a lot.
Well, the fact that they're not even basing it on like politics per se. They're basing it on climate change activism. What are you doing? This is like an EV car company. This is literally what these idiots were demanding we switch to EVs like a year ago, right? And now they're spray painting the dealership because of climate change. Like, these people are morons. The fact that they feel so emboldened that they can show their face, they don't even have a mask, means that you got to drop the hammer on these idiots. You can't allow this stuff to go on. That's wild.
I had when was that? It's still fucking going on, yet I've posted this, man, weeks ago. Where the hell did I post this? But I was making fun when this first started. I was actually go for it, man. Oh, there you go. No, here we go. So I posted this, and it's gone viral since then. I probably have through 300,000 views on this, and it's been shared thousands of times. It's just pointing out, and this is 3 weeks ago. I posted this crap when it first started, and it's only getting worse. Like, I don't even see this getting any better anytime soon. But the irony, it's, those people are the gift that keeps on giving. So I posted this. Lefties are destroying Tesla cars because they don't like Elon Musk. Yet, until recently, these cars were mostly bought by climate change supporters, meaning lefties. Basically, lefties are destroying other lefties' cars. irony.
I mean, it's right. Like, it's not Elon Musk who owns those cars. It's other liberals. Like, right. Like, maybe a couple of years from now, it'll be more conservative just because of the way politics have gone.
The rebound. Yep.
As of right now, the vast majority of Tesla owners are liberals and leftists. It's fucking wild, man.
But though, I thought I'd mention this because last week we traveled a lot, right? Over the last week, we went from Alabama. We did Alabama. We did, hold on, let me bring a map. But we did Alabama. We did Georgia. We went South Carolina, North Carolina. Then we went, hold on, because, man, we did so many states last week. But we did North Carolina, South Carolina. We went through Maryland, Pennsylvania, New York, Vermont. So we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We went through 8 states. We didn't do Vermont. We were at the border. So we did 8 states last week. I probably seen 100, 200 Tesla cars driving that distance. Not one was damaged. So as much as we see a lot of those videos, as much as we're seeing a lot of people talking against Tesla, my buddy that lives in Virginia has a Tesla. He lives in a university town of Richmond, Virginia, where 3/4 of the people that walks around have purple hair or trans. So this is the biggest spot of wokeism probably in Virginia, yet his car doesn't get damaged.
Yeah, I mean,
so as much as we're being sold the idea that there's a lot of those people out there, there's not that many of them. Most people have more respect.
No, it's enough
for other
that it's a
people's
problem.
property.
But you're right. It's not every Tesla. It certainly is not. It's not. I would say most Teslas are probably fine. The problem is that the people doing it are putting it on social media and they're getting lots of praise for leftists. So that that's just going to cause more and more copycats, right? So that's why you have to crack down on it.
You want to take Tessa's
I'll take Tessa's here. So she says, I mostly get out of their way if they're saying the right things, but will challenge on BS. That doesn't exist. Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. I'm talking about Bill Maher. I think when he used the term hermaphrodite, even though, like, me and you know that's not a correct biological term, I think he's just sort of being a bit lazy and I don't think he's actually agreeing with any form of transgenderism or transgender ideology. She then goes on to say, frankly, conservatives have treated me with more respect than liberal men. And one thing that I find as a liberal that started to really speak out against transgenderism a couple of years back was how many liberal men are actually misogynistic and actually seem to hate women. They love this ideology because it allows them to hate women in a socially acceptable way. They can hate women and keep their liberal status, their progressive credentials. And, I found that a little disheartening. And I hear that all the time from, because, again, on X, mostly I speak about gender ideology. And so I have a lot of, women who are opposed to a gender, some, TERFs and whatnot. And I use that in the positive way. And they will say, I hear that again and again. Conservative men treat them with far more respect than liberal men. Is that a real she?
But hold on. Let me ask Tess. Obviously, I imagine you're a woman. Are you a liberal woman? Like, do you consider yourself a liberal woman? Not that it matters. We're not going to judge you for it. I'm just curious. Are you liberal? Are you conservative? Do you find yourself more in the middle? Like, where are you from? Because it's the first time we see you. We normally have a very good idea of the people that leaves comment. Like Joe Stradamus, he's more of a lefty than not a righty. So I'm just curious, Tess, where do you fall? Because obviously you're probably an orphan if you are here.
There's space for everyone. Yeah, I would say most liberal political orphans started on gender ideology. That's the thing that was obvious. And then once you get into it, you start to realize there's some other things. You sort of the blinders fall off. And I would suspect it's something like that. But I'm curious to hear that as well, Tess. She says, "Is that a real she?" So I saw this question or this comment here a few minutes ago, and so I brought something up just to show you.
What is he? What is she talking about?
She the guy who
Thank you, Brett.
So this is her. It's funny.
This is him. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Another picture right here. Yes. So it's funny because anyone who's in the gender critical community, you start to hear all the dog whistles from media. You can immediately tell, is this a real she? Just by the way they talk about it. Like she says here, I was just guessing. You guessed correctly. That is,
I look at this, I'm like, go back to the last picture you showed.
Yeah, let me get that.
I'm gonna find. Hold on. This, I'm gonna be an asshole right here, but that picture right there, you know what it reminds me of? I'll show you a picture.
Okay.
This is literally, and it's pretty ironic when you think about it, considering what that is. This is who that person reminds me of. So take a good look right now and look at this.
Now, let me
tell me this is not what it looks like, and considering what that thing is, that it's not. Oop, there you go. This is who that person reminds me of.
Fucking Frankenstein.
Considering it's a dude in a dress, that's a woman that's been put together by many pieces, but that's not. So it's she not a pretty girl. That's not not a pretty boy. That's not a pretty girl either. No matter how you see it, it ain't pretty.
Why do they do this? Why does the media do this? Like, about like in this era of like unprecedented distrust in media.
Yeah.
And I don't see that as a good thing. I think a media that has trust is a valuable institution. It's a valuable aspect of a healthy society. So I want us to be able to trust the media. But when you do this shit, when you tell us that that's a woman, when you say she and her, all you're doing, like, we know that that's bullshit, right? We know that's a lie. So if I know you're going to lie to me about something as basic as that, how can I trust anything else that you say? And I don't understand how they don't see this. They're so fucking worried about not offending the precious feelings of these entitled men that they are willing to trash their entire reputations. They are willing to destroy a free press. And it's mind-boggling to me. I don't understand it.
I've never understood it. So
no. Memorino says,
here, bro.
What a face. Oh man, you're right. You're right. It's never even like handsome men, attractive men. It's the bridge trolls and the fucking river monsters. And they're throwing a wig on. Throwing wigs on and dresses on, and I'm a woman now. No, Lurch.
You know what's funny about this, man? The funniest thing is when you comment about this, you're so much worse than I am.
Oh my God.
It is so hilarious that you're so much worse than I am.
This is my trigger. This triggers me. I've got a lot of pent up energy.
I think I was polite with Frankenstein. You a bridge troll. Like, bridge trolls are uglier than Frankenstein.
Yeah.
At least in my opinion.
Tess agrees. Memorino says, at least be as pretty as
Blair White.
Blair White is credit where it's due. If you want to talk attractive trannies, he's definitely one of them. It's almost like it fucks with your brain a little bit because he does look like a woman. Now he is not, and to his credit, he's a conservative transgender. He doesn't go along with a lot of that shit. He'll say he's a man. He doesn't expect to be called a woman. And as far as I know, he does not go into female spaces. He's just a dude who thinks will be happier living as a woman. And as long as you stay out of women's single-sex spaces, women's sports, women's prisons, you don't demand that we lie about who you are. I don't really have a problem with that. There's always going to be weirdos and freaks out there, and I can't be too bothered to try to go around policing them. But as you said, if you look at his hands, they're a giveaway. He's got big old meat hooks on them. He just happens to have facial features that make him look more disguisable as a woman.
I see them hands right there. Hold on. I just found a picture here where he's aiming those mitts.
Look at those big old meat hooks on him. There's no doubt he, as far as men who are able to kind of look like women, he's probably one of the better ones. But and to his credit, he does not claim to be a woman. He's just a fucking weirdo, and there's lots of them out there. I really can't be
weirdo.
I can't be bothered.
You really feel, bro.
Yes. Prairie.
I agree with Prairie.
They're transvestites. And what's interesting is the ones that don't try to lie to us, they will often just say, "That's all I am." They might say transsexual as a way to differentiate themselves from transgender. Buck Angel is someone who will describe.
It's so funny you say that because I was just to show you, bang! I was just going to put that up. This is a woman that fucks with my head.
Buck Angel, yeah. I mean, and the fact of the matter is,
just so you guys know, this is a woman. This is a woman that does not claim to be a man. But I've had an interview with him. I was going to say he's a cool dude because he fucks with that dude. That's the only tranny that I will call a dude, although she's not. She's a woman.
It does mess with your head a bit.
He has a bit better beard than me. Fuck that guy.
It's
Fuck
just
you,
the nature of testosterone is such that a female who takes it will just naturally be able to look more like a man than the reverse. It's such a powerful hormone. It literally changes your face, your body, everything. Whereas, so you do get a lot more passable females who transition to men, but same thing. Buck Angel does not believe that she is a man. She wouldn't say it's a hate crime to call her she, her. She's not going to cry about being misgendered. So I got no problem.
He doesn't care.
I got no problem with that.
He's the first one. She is the first one to tell you that she has mental issues. That she has dysphoria. It's just the way she presents. She likes to present herself as a man because it fits her own image, but in no way, shape, or form has any amount of testosterone transformed her into a man.
Yeah, absolutely. And she'll admit that. And I think a lot of those people, those sort of like old school transsexuals, I think they're furious with the transgenderism as a movement, because they say 10 years ago they had it great. People didn't bug them. They didn't need to lie to people. Like now everybody is just against so much of this. And they're trying to say that's not me. That's not us. I'm not demanding that you lie. I'm not demanding that women or men be allowed in women's spaces. And the transgender activism really fucked it for a lot of those people, and they'll tell you that they are mentally ill. And if someone is saying I'm mentally ill, I feel better as the opposite sex, I'm not going to condemn you. Just don't force me to lie. But that's what transgender as a movement, as an ideology, has done. It is forcing us to lie, and that's a bridge too far. People will not accept that. Tess is homeless, so. You come to the right place.
Yeah, but where did you come from? Like, did you come from the left, the right? I'm just curious. I'm just curious because, when I spoke to Buck Angel when he had a podcast together, I asked him, I'm like, who gives you the most hate? And he's like, by far the left, by far. He's like, the vast majority of her/his followers are conservative people. No, but she was saying that she has a lot of Christians following her. Because he speaks the truth. He admits to be, what's Christianity? To admit you're a sinner. That's the first thing to admit. You need to admit to yourself you're a sinner. It all stems from there. And he's the first one to say he has mental issues. It's very interesting. Like I will agree with Memorino saying that if you don't follow Buck Angel on social media, you should. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of her/him. He fucks with my head. That's the only person that ever. I call him out of respect, but she's a she. It's just I like him. I've had a podcast with him. He's a cool dude. She's a cool dude. See, there you go. She's a cool dude. I'm gonna say that.
She's good. Yeah, it works. The test says she's politically homeless. Then clarifies she would have been considered far left just 5 minutes ago. Yeah, I mean, same. Preach. Maybe not far left. I don't think I would have ever considered myself far left, but certainly like solidly liberal.
You would have never considered yourself far left. I would have considered.
You would have, for sure.
Yes.
I mean, there was always people within the left that were quite to the left of me. But there's, many such cases, as they say in social media these days, of people like you and me, Tess. There's a gender ideology really seemed to just break a lot of our opinions about what the left is even supposed to mean or what it's supposed to stand for. I still call myself a liberal, but like on X, my name is the heretical liberal. I get a ton of hate from the left too. I get called a far right Nazi, a far right bigot all the time. I have enough of my issues that still keep me from ever identifying probably, or at least now, as a conservative. But I've certainly had my mind opened about how authoritarian the left has become and how toxic that mindset is, that worldview. I find far more common ground with common sense conservatives and righties now than I do with most liberals. So, I mean, make of that with as you will. But I mean, welcome to the show. This sounds like it's a place for you. I agree with you too about the left-right thing. I think in a lot of ways, the left-right paradigm with which to discuss or think about politics doesn't really fit anymore. We still use those terms because I think we've just been so ingrained in them that it still makes some sort of sense. But I think the future is really more issues focused, as you said. There are going to be people who just don't slot neatly on the left or the right. And I think there will be a growing number of those people. I mean, Nico, you don't even consider yourself a right winger. You use the word conservative.
By people's standards, I would be a right winger.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm a conservative Christian. So wherever the hell that fits in your political spectrum, this is me. But I'm a libertarian. I don't care that you don't agree with my values as a Christian, as long as you leave the kids alone and you leave me alone. Yeah, I believe where my rights finish, yours begins. This is where whatever the fuck you do, even if I disagree with it, if you're doing it between consensual adults and you leave the kids out of it, I don't really care. Whatever. Do you, man. Do you. I don't care.
Absolutely.
So this is, I think I'm going to have to skip the thing about Planned Parenthood. Either way, it's not time sensitive, so maybe we'll revisit it tomorrow, because I really want to go to the Canadian election update portion of the show, because what's going on with Paul Chiang is just messed up. And I found a great video this morning that goes right through it. Like, the video is awesome. And then I want to talk about Marine Le Pen, because this is a big deal. Like, what's going on in France right now is a big fucking deal. So let me play this video. It's about, to give you a bit of context, it's about Paul Chiang, the liberal MP that wanted his conservative opponent, Joe Toy, to be arrested, deported to China, and his followers to be collecting a Chinese bounty that has been put on the face of Joe. And he said that publicly. He said that in the media. And not only did he say that, but Mark Carney did not want to fire him. Paul Chiang has resigned since then, as you're going to see in the video. But this is trending right now on X, and I understand why. Like, it's trending over everything in the US right now. It's absolutely insane. But let's watch the video. It goes into detail. And yeah, Paul Chiang, the comments that he made about his conservative opponent.
Liberal MP Paul Chiang, representing the Toronto area, is stepping down from the federal race just hours after Canadian police said it is looking into his remarks about Conservative opponent Joy Tay. In January, Chiang reportedly stated that people should take Tay to the local Chinese consulate to collect a bounty. Chiang announced his decision on X, stating that he was stepping aside as the candidate for Markham Unionville, the riding he has represented as an MP for 3.5 years. He cited his desire not to be a distraction for Team Canada and Prime Minister Carney, who are standing.
I just want to show you guys something. I didn't notice the first time I watched the video, but look at what's on his shirt. I will stop it. Oh, there you go. I had it right there. Do you see what that is? The pin that's right there. Do you know what that is?
No, I don't.
I'll show you.
Okay.
This is a pin that you saw people like Trudeau wear. You see people like Carney wear it. But I will show you. This, if you are not, I'm just looking for a picture. There you go. Funny enough, it is something that Bill Gates has repeatedly showed. This is something that May, the Green Party leader in Canada, has repeatedly wore. It is the WEF pin. This is what we're seeing right now. So this is what that guy had on his shirt. And this is obviously, you can recognize that Chin Chin. This is our old Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau. But see how it's the same thing. You see them all. So this is what we're seeing right now. I just wanted to put it into context because I just noticed it when I was looking at the videos earlier. I didn't actually see
Canada
it. But
Prime Minister Carney.
Did you see it right there? So you see a guy with the WEF pin, and that is the World Economic Forum, which Prime Minister Carney was part of. He sat on this what do you call it, on the
board of directors.
Thank you. Yes, that's exactly right. So I'll continue the video, but man, this is messed up. I didn't realize that the first time.
Action for Team Canada and Prime Minister Carney, who are standing up to President Trump against tariffs. Liberal Prime Minister Mark Carney had previously ruled out dropping Chiang from the race.
Previous to this, he was speaking with the RCMP about his safety. So I'm just wondering why you feel comfortable continuing with a candidate that was parroting Chinese Communist Party talking points to try and attack a political candidate.
Look, this is a person of integrity who's served this community, his community, as a senior police officer for, as I said, more than a quarter century. He's made a terrible lapse in judgment. He's made an apology for that. It's also an individual who has family in Hong Kong. He's under no illusions about the situation there, the situation in broader China. He's made those apologies. He's made them directly to the individual concerned. He's made them directly to me. He has my confidence.
Conservative leader and PM candidate Pierre Poilievre said Chiang's comments had left Tay afraid for his life.
The Chinese government puts out a bounty on the head of a Canadian citizen because he criticized China. And the Liberal candidate in the same riding as this Conservative candidate said that that people should turn him over to the Chinese government to send him back to China where he could be killed. On a bounty. And Mark Carney was asked what he thought, and he said he would keep that Liberal candidate in place. Of course he would. When you owe the Chinese government $250 million, it's pretty hard to stand up for Canada, isn't it? If this is the question as we face the threats of trade tariffs from Trump, if Mark Carney will not stand up for a Canadian citizen whose life is threatened by a hostile foreign regime, will he ever stand up for Canada against the Americans?
Man, I dislike that man. Jesus, I cannot stand this guy. But the way he says it, it's so much bullshit. Like he ties this in the air quote tariff wars that are not real, that we've created. But the point is, at least part of his speech was right. How can you condone this type of comment? And you're going to see right now, they go into detail. And I like Joe, the guy that he the guy that was told that he should get arrested and deported to China.
Yeah.
That guy is awesome. That's why I reached out to him today. So if you guys know him, I sent him a message on X this morning, hoping that he'd answer so that he would come on the show to talk about this. So if any of you know him, reach out to him and tell him tell him we want him on the show so that we can talk about this. But you'll see why I like him. His response is, you'll see.
Chiang apologized to Tay over a phone call on March 30th. However, Tay released a statement on March 31st rejecting the apology and calling for Chiang's removal. In December, Hong Kong police declared a bounty of 1 million Hong Kong dollars, approximately 184,000 US dollars, for information leading to Tay's arrest. He has been accused of violating a national security law imposed on the former British colony by China. Tay runs a YouTube channel, Hong Konger Station, which highlights ongoing civil rights violations in Hong Kong. In January, Chiang reportedly told a Chinese language media conference that people should take Tay to the Chinese consulate in Toronto to claim the reward money.
If anyone here can take him to the Chinese consulate general in Toronto, you can get the $1 million reward.
Holy hell.
That
man.
is the comment that Paul Chiang said to Ming Pao, a Chinese newspaper. So not only did he say that out loud, but he said that to a Chinese newspaper, knowing that Joe Toy actually speaks against the Chinese Communist government on his YouTube channel. This is fucking serious. You're basically saying, let's arrest my political opponents, and you're using a communist government to do the dirty job for you.
Well, not only that, but it implies that he takes his marching orders from the Chinese Communist Party. You know, there's a serious concern right now down in the States and also within Canada about how much influence the Chinese Communist Party has in Canadian politics, and specifically in the Liberal Party. And this isn't going to help that. I mean, that's you know, and the fact that, like, he knows that the Chinese government, if you got him there, they would smuggle this guy out. Like, that is a complete disregard for Canadian sovereignty. And I mean, at some point, frankly, we should be getting closer to the Americans rather than further away, because we can't go against China by ourselves. If they want to really gain a foothold in Canada, and it seems like they do, they will. And if America feels like we are basically infiltrated by the Chinese government, they're going to act completely different towards us. You know, the tariffs will look like child's play compared to that.
And if you notice at the beginning, Mark Carney defended this guy, as in he had no problems with him staying on because he was a good guy. He did some good work in the past. Just to put it into perspective, you know that I think it was 2 weeks ago, at least it was last month for sure, 4 Canadians were executed by China. You heard about that, right?
Yep.
Did you know that more than 100 Canadians right now are in prison in China? More than 100. And you have a guy that is openly saying that his political opponents should be arrested by the Chinese government so that whoever wants the bounty can receive it. And our prime minister is defending that. But it gets worse. Like, no, hold on. It gets worse. I found a little video from years ago. Just, you'll start to understand why Mark Carney probably stands with that guy, like stands with Chiang, and is not going after China for not only the 100% tariffs that they put on our goods and services that ends up in China compared to the 25% of the US, but look at what he said about China a couple of years ago.
The momentum behind this agenda is now tremendous, and it'll be important that China is center stage to shape this new global, sustainable financial system. The momentum behind this agenda is now tremendous, and it'll be important that China is center stage to shape this new global, sustainable financial system.
What's he talking about here?
Pretty simple. If you think about him wanting to partner with emerging Southern Asian country, remember? He was saying that a couple of weeks ago where he wanted us to put a tax on carbon so that we could participate in a world economy. So the video we just showed was from a few years ago, but then a couple of weeks ago, he's starting how we need to stop depending on the US and start dealing with the biggest polluter on the planet, because that's what's better for climate. Somehow doing business with a country that produced 3 to 4 times
polluter.
3 to 4 times more than the US is somehow good for the environment. No, of course
doesn't make any
not.
sense.
You
They
know,
don't care.
no. And so you have Paul Chiang that can say this with no consequences from Mark Carney. Then you have Mark Carney saying that China needs to be center stage for the new type of economy that they're trying to bring in. And then you have his foreign minister, Jolie, that talks
Melanie
about,
Jolie.
Yep, hold on. I got a video of her that I found this morning where she is. Did I actually find it? Oh, man, I don't think I downloaded it. Hold on. Take some comments. I'll find it.
Yep. Okay, so Prairie says, let's see here. That's fucking kidnapping. Pierre Trudeau used the War Measures Act when MPs were threatened and kidnapped in Quebec during the FLQ crisis. Yeah, I mean, it's not, it's kidnapping of a Canadian citizen, which is bad enough. But now this is an elected politician, which ups the ante even more. That's a direct attack on Canadian sovereignty. The fact that this guy, he should have been, fired immediately, as far as I'm concerned. Prairie says cops are dirty as fuck. Integrity, my ass. Yeah, I mean, obviously some are definitely dirty. It continues. He's calling for people to take somebody against their will for money. And yeah, I mean, I wasn't too familiar with this story. I'd seen a little bit on X this morning, but like this video here is the most that I've really gotten into it. And that's wild. That is just absolutely wild that an elected politician was saying that.
But hold on, I found the other video I wanted to show from Melanie Jolie, she is the foreign minister. She is Carney's foreign minister. Listen to this.
Strongly condemns the execution.
Canada's foreign minister confirmed today 4 Canadians were executed in China earlier this year. All dual citizens charged with drug-related crimes.
This is an issue that I've been following very, very closely personally for months.
In a statement, Global Affairs said Canada strongly condemns China's use of the death penalty and insisted Canada repeatedly called for clemency for these individuals at the senior-most levels. Jolie said that top-level diplomacy included outreach from both her and then Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. The government says Canadian officials are providing consular assistance to the victims' families. Speaking as someone who spent more than 1,000 days detained in China, Michael Kovrig called China's actions completely unnecessary.
This is Beijing demonstrating once again that it never misses an opportunity to miss an opportunity.
China's embassy in Ottawa also confirmed the executions, stating the country always imposes severe penalties for drug crimes. The embassy said the facts in these cases were clear and the evidence was sufficient, and said Chinese authorities fully guaranteed the rights and interests of the Canadian nationals concerned.
While China executes more people than any other country in the world, it is rare for them to do this with foreigners, so this is a deeply troubling development.
Those who keep close tabs on Beijing are concerned for the more than 100 Canadians in Chinese prisons right now, and warn these killings are a sign efforts to repair relations may not go far.
The timing of the execution, I don't think is accidental. It's just to show to Canada, look, you will have to make concessions if you want to see the relationship improve.
The Canadian government has confirmed that Robert Schellenberg of Abbotsford, BC, who was sentenced to death by a Chinese court in 2019 for drug smuggling, was not one of the Canadians executed.
We strongly
So we basically have an MP that will say out loud that his followers, the people that vote for her, should bring in his conservative competition for the bounty. We fully know that Carney sees a very big investment, that we need to make an investment in doing business with China. He talked about it a couple of weeks ago, how this was more important than our relationship with the US. I showed you a video from years ago where he's saying that they need to become center stage of that new world, economy.
System.
Exactly. And now you have Mélanie Joly, which is basically just brushing it off like nothing happened. Oh yeah, we're aware that 4 Canadians got killed. They got murdered or got executed, and we have hundreds more that are just in their jail, and they're literally brushing that off like nothing, like this is nothing. And as I always say, as a guy that's an engineer by trade, always break it down. Step away from everything that's happening. Look at it from a broad stroke. Look at what's the goal. If our goal is to build a bigger alliance with China, what are the goals? Never call them out. How do we get there? Never call them out on what they do wrong. Just say that you're going to support them and allow people to just, it's okay. Let's hate the Americans for putting 25% tariff, which they haven't done yet. They should be doing it tomorrow. But let's forget the fact that China's put 100% tariffs. Everywhere we look, it's full of shit. The way that we treat the communist government of China is okay. Yeah, you know what, guys? Don't worry about the fact that they're killing our own people. They're murdering Canadians. Don't worry about it. We're going to do more business with them because this is where we think we need to go. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, are you fucking kidding me?
I don't like that at all. I think a lot of people, a lot of Canadians are concerned with the influence that China has been asserting within our country. And I think it does seem to be focused mostly on the Liberal Party. I'm sure there are some conservatives as well, but for whatever reason, it is focused primarily on the Liberal Party. And I think this needs to be a major discussion. I hope the media brings it up on the campaign trail. You've certainly connected a few dots here that is pretty interesting.
It looks bad, right? It just looks bad.
Yeah.
Believe me or not, disagree with me or not, it just looks bad. And Tess, I don't have I'm not from Quebec. I'm retarded. I'm from Montreal. I'm from Montreal, by the way.
I want to get a couple of these tests.
Yep.
So she says she's known 8 Buccaneer for over 30 years. I assume that means Buck Angel.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Yeah.
Says they had it gray because she got away with grooming children, and she's speaking out of both sides. Are we talking about Buck Angel now?
I think she's talking about Gray White. Was that not his name?
Oh, Blair White. Yeah, Blair
White.
Yes.
Sorry, I think that's what
you're right. You're right. That makes sense. Yeah, because up here, Tess says he does go into female spaces. Yeah, so I mean, I don't, like I said, I'm not super. That was my impression. If that's incorrect, then I'll correct that. And if he does, then fuck him too. I've got no interest in that. Obviously, you can't make exceptions just because the men look like women. You just have to. There might have been a time 10 years ago, perhaps, when that argument would have flown, but that time is long gone, and everyone has seen that basically the trans community refused to police themselves. They refused to get the autogynephiles out. They refused to get the obvious perverts and creeps out, and they made it impossible for women to do anything about the people who just. They know they aren't trans. They don't think they're women. They're just predators, but they realize that they can get away with whatever they want if they claim to be trans. So, trans community refuse to police themselves, and now society's going to have to do it for them. Sucks to suck. Sorry about your luck. It is what it is. They fucked it for themselves.
Yeah, and you know what? This is the thing. If my wife would come out of a public bathroom saying there's a dude in there, I'm walking in, and that dude better learn how to fly. Because he's gonna get thrown. Like this is something that is unacceptable to me. Unacceptable. You do not belong there, bro.
What's also unacceptable,
you don't belong there.
Is if that happened, they would as it goes right now, they would call you that they'd say it's a hate crime. You know what I mean?
They call me that. They call me hateful no matter what, bro. So
yeah.
It's fine. It's fine.
Ridiculous.
But I believe that they can fly. You know what? I believe that they can fly. So I'm just helping them develop a new skill.
Be their most authentic self.
Yeah, they're fairies, aren't they? Oh,
yeah.
Heyo.
Heyo.
Heyo. Anything else you want to add to this before we go to Marine Le Pen?
No. I think that. Yeah. I honestly, man, I'm pretty shocked that like I didn't realize it was that bad. This Chiang thing.
Yeah.
Like I thought that was maybe subtle, but no, he just flat out said, "Bring this guy, this Canadian citizen, to the Chinese consulate. You'll get a reward." And it's insane that Carney was going to protect him.
But then at the same time, it makes sense when he's passing positive comments about China and when right now we have 4 Canadians that were murdered 2 weeks ago, and there's still more than 100 sitting in prison. I have not heard any plan by Mark Carney to bring them back here. I heard zero. All I heard is let's do more business with China and let's tax our people more so that we can do business with the biggest polluter on the planet. Awesome. That makes so much fucking sense, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's wild. That's wild.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, because like I said, a lot of Canadians are really concerned with Chinese influence in Canada. The Americans are really
the
concerned.
US. So is the US, exactly.
Very concerned.
And it's a great point that you're bringing, because does that make it more believable that the US is right, that we do have a problem with Chinese involvement in our government? Because time and time again, you've seen people getting caught doing spy activities within our government, or people are married to old Chinese spies. Like, are you kidding me? And this is somehow that's okay. Under Trudeau, it was okay. And clearly under Carney, it's also okay. But remember, this is why I showed you the pin. Don't forget, Paul Chiang was actually wearing a pin from the WEF. So that tells you those are globalist people. They don't care about Canada. And Carney is a globalist. He's a globalist banker with ties to the WEF. He has no shame in saying it. You can go on his X right now and find posts saying that he's proud to be a globalist. So those people don't have the interest of Canadians at heart. They have a bigger agenda, which is globalizing all the countries under a one world government like the WEF wants. And they're not shy to tell you. They wear the fucking pins right in Parliament, no problem. Like, they're not hiding it. They're telling you what they stand for.
Yeah. It's like you said, hard to wrap your mind around it. Before we jump into that, I'll just grab a couple of this. I laughed when I saw this. Prairie says, if you should be using this, the female bathroom sign, and follow my daughter into this, the female bathroom sign, you're going to be needing this, the disabled wheelchair sign. Yes, could not agree more.
My favorite one was, I don't know who said this, but that was years ago. He's like, if you identify as a woman, I identify as the tooth fairy. Fucking love that. Hey-o. There you go. Yeah.
Tess says, insane. 40 million people cutting back on carbon will make a big dent on 3 billions. I'm sure. I knew our math class were getting bad, but yeah, I mean, we like, it's all virtue signaling nonsense. There's no need for us to be, there's nothing we can do. Even if we cut our emissions like 50%, it's not going to make a dent.
We're already net zero.
Yeah,
they
we're like
1%. We generate 1% of the world's emission.
Yeah,
yet they never talk about the fact that we have one of the biggest forests in the world, which probably not only are we net negative, or we're net zero, we probably filter a lot of the CEO from countries around us just by being close to us. So don't give me this shit that we need to tax our people more. Fuck off. Makes no sense.
Yeah, it's nonsense, especially right now when we're going through all this trouble with the tariffs and stuff. Like, now's the time to knock that shit off.
Agreed. Is there another one to take?
Prairie says she wants to make bumper stickers. Yeah, I'd buy it.
Bumper stickers for what? Oh, what she said earlier?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I take a tooth fairy one too. To make them, I take one of those.
Yeah. All right. What's
Last topic I wanted to bring up. Marine Le Pen convicted. She will not be able to run in 2027. I have a couple of videos to show here to put it into perspective, because I know that most people don't follow necessarily international news, especially not out of France. But since my family years and years ago was originally from there, it matters, because French and Marine Le Pen is one of those women. If you guys follow at all international news, you know that there's a prime minister in Italy that is more right, like she's more right.
Maloney,
She's trying, exactly. You look at Poland, that has a Christian leader that does not want people that will not respect their values. So you're starting to see a movement in Europe that is swinging back to the middle, unlike what's going on in France right now, what's going on in the UK. And Marine Le Pen is one of them in France. Like, she literally won the most vote as the last president, like as the last election, but the president Macron just dissolved parliament. So listen to this. The video is well done. It puts a lot of perspective, but it's just to give you an idea of what we're talking about here.
Yep.
Marine Le Pen leaves court before her sentence is fully read out. The far-right leader and more than 20 other National Rally Party figures have been found guilty of misappropriating close to $7 million of European Parliament funds.
There was clearly not a single question or consultation in the court with regard to the declaration of guilt, and that was my objective.
Ms Le Pen has been banned from running for office for 5 years, effective immediately, meaning it'll disqualify her from the 2027 presidential election.
What the judge is doing here is she's saying, I'm going to make you ineligible straight away, and I'm doing it precisely to stop you from being able to be elected president. If that's not a political decision, I don't know what is.
She was also sentenced to 4 years prison. 2 were suspended, the rest under home detention.
This is very much a sink or swim moment for the National Rally. We are talking about a very leader-centric party that is suddenly finding itself without its natural leader.
The ban on Marine Le Pen running for president is the latest chapter in a chaotic period in French politics, with 3 prime ministers in the past year. The crisis was triggered by Emmanuel Macron's decision to dissolve parliament after the far-right party won the most votes in the last European election.
If Ms Le Pen can't overturn her conviction, the National Rally's 29-year-old president, Jordan Bardella, is expected to be the party's nominee in 2027. On social media, he condemned her sentence, labelling it the death of French democracy. 5 years out of politics is a long time, but other convicted leaders have managed to come back from the political wilderness before. Catherine Duce, ABC News.
So she was accused of embezzlement. I'm going to show you another video from a girl called Eva with a massive amount of following, which she explains what actually is happening, what she supposedly has done. But I was reading this morning that even if she appeals it, the fact that she was accused makes her it's impossible for her to run in 2027. Really? So even if they're bogus, so even if they're bogus, this is you know,
funny how
that's
never
true.
The left-wing politicians, and don't tell me it's because they're not corrupt. Like, come on. And even, you know, the thing about Marine Le Pen is always right. She's far right. She's far right. She's Nazi.
And she's so not. She's more like a libertarian. Oh no, I'm more right than I am more right than Marine Le Pen. I can tell you right now.
She's definitely right wing. The thing that they label her far right for is her stance on immigration. Now,
100%.
You cannot, like, whatever your stance on is immigration. And Tess, this is, you know, we were talking a few minutes back about, you know, it started with gender ideology, and then you see some other issues. Immigration is another major one for me, where I've really diverged from the mainstream left. I think immigration is not a bad thing. I think it is a good thing, especially in, you know, a society where birth rate is so low. but it has to be done right. It has to be done legally. To be one of the few countries in the world where people want to move, that's a great advantage. You have your pick and choice of the smartest, the best, the brightest, and we're not doing that. Why the fuck are we not doing that? But the left-wing position is there's no downside to mass migration. They've backdoored these policies in all over the West over the last 10 years. And to just pretend like there's just any dissent from that position is racism, is hate, and that's bullshit. So when I see this, even though I'm a liberal, I think this is bullshit, man. Like, there has to be people, you have to be allowed to criticize immigration without being called a Nazi, called far right, and fucking jailed. Are you kidding me?
Agreed. Let me show you I have 2 more videos for this before you take the comments. First is Trump. Trump actually was asked about this yesterday, and obviously Trump has an opinion about everything. So here is Trump speaking about Marine Le Pen yesterday.
I think I heard that India just a little while ago is going to be dropping its tariffs very substantially. And I said, why didn't somebody do this a long time ago? A lot of countries are going to be dropping their tariffs.
That's what happened in France today, Mr. President. Marine Le Pen, the far-right leader, got convicted in court and is now banned from running for office for 5 years. Do you have a comment?
That's a big deal. That's a very big deal. I know all about it, and a lot of people thought she wasn't going to be convicted of anything, and I don't know if it means conviction, but she was banned for running for 5 years, and she's the leading candidate. That sounds like this country.
Hold on. She's going to make it about him for sure.
No, but what he's saying, though, it reminds him of this country, but listen to what he says. He's right about this, though.
That sounds very much like this country. Okay, anybody else?
So basically, remember what happened to him, right? However you feel about Donald Trump, love him or hate him, they went after him trying to legally prevent him from running. That's what they tried to do. So that's the reference. This is the reference that obviously Trump will always make it about himself, and he knows all about this. Of course he does. It's Donald Trump. At the end of the day, once you get past the personality, what he said was true. They did try to go after him. It didn't work. It backfired. That guy used his mugshot as basically one of the most badass fucking picture ever taken. And he used it to his advantage. But from what I gather in the French politics is different. We'll see. It's going to develop, obviously, and I'm going to continue following up to make sure that I'm up to date on this, and I'll update you guys at the same time. But the point is that from what I could read this morning, just the fact that she was accused, even if she is found non-guilty, she still cannot run. So no matter what, she's fucked, it seems like.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm really, 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 really skeptical of barring anybody from running. Let the people decide, right? I'm all for transparency. If you've got things against her, put it out there and let the people decide. Agreed. But if the people are aware of it and they don't give a shit, who are you to say she's banned or she should be barred? It was pretty clear with Donald Trump, like, you know how they say it all the time, 36-time felon. Well, yeah, but that's 36 separate charges from the same fucking case. Yeah. Yes, he paid off a porn star that he had an affair with. Not the best character guy. No one's arguing that. But like the fact that he tried to hide it, I mean, most people would do that. I don't want to criminalize.
You wouldn't advertise that you fucked a porn star while you were married and you're trying to become president? What?
Yeah, I know.
Like, about Willis?
And like, come on, like I don't want you making your decisions for me based on a morality play. Tell me what he did, and then I will decide if I still want to vote for him. That's how it should be.
Agreed. I totally agree with you, man. Now hold on. Before you take more, let me play one more. There's one more, then we'll take we'll take what we have left. And this is a woman called Ava, her last name, I kid you not, VLAARDINGERBROOEK.
Okay.
Vlandergenbrunk. But she explains what's going on.
Remember the movie Eurotrip, when Buddy's in there and they give him the safe word.
Yes,
It's like, wow,
yes.
No. Oh,
You
did
know
you
what?
say
That was Xena, the warrior princess.
Yes, it was.
That
too.
was his torturer.
Yeah.
So here's Eva.
Okay, so the
speaking about.
lawfare being used against right-wing politicians in Europe is being taken to a whole new level. Marine Le Pen, the leader of Rassemblement National, the populist right-wing party in France, has just been sentenced to 4 years in jail, of which 2 suspended, and has been barred from partaking in French politics for the next 5 years. That means that she's been barred from running against Macron for the position of the president of France. She's been convicted for allegedly embezzling European funds, misusing European funds for her national fraction of the party instead of the European fraction of the party, which I dare to bet money on the fact that if any judicial system in any European country would launch an investigation into left-wing parties to see if they were doing that let's say 80% of them would be found guilty of the same thing, because I used to work in the European Parliament, and trust me, this is something that I think happens a lot more than they want you to believe. And of course, we will never know that because they don't launch investigations into left-wing parties, because the whole aim of this is to crush the right wing in Europe, because we're growing too fast. And so the system, the cabal, needs to come down on us through another way. And what do? Lawfare. They're banning us. They're banning our parties. They're banning politicians from running. They're convicting us of hate speech and hate crimes. That's how they do it. That's the new strategy. And, think about it for a second. Embezzlement of European funds. Ursula von der Leyen, the president of the European Commission, is under investigation for corruption because she closed a 35 billion euro deal with the CEO of Pfizer via text message. And we still don't have those text messages, but she is the president of the European Commission, and Marine Le Pen is not allowed to run as the president of France. If that is not two-tier politics, I don't know what is.
And it's something that you say all the time, that you never see the left being treated the way the left is treating the right. And you say it all the time, and I'm happy. I will never interrupt you when you're making my point for me. But this is all. No, but as somebody that sits in the middle, I'm looking at this. I'm like, okay, so it's okay to do that to the right, but it's not okay for the right to do that to the left, or the left will not do it to themselves, right?
It just stinks. It stinks all around. The timing of it stinks. The fact that her signature issue, immigration, is probably the number one issue that's going to be on the table in the 2027 election in France.
100%.
Immigration is a massive problem all across the West, but Europe specifically. The problem is they are not just bringing in massive numbers of immigrants. They're bringing massive numbers of young single men who hate
fighting
women,
age.
Who do not share Western values of pluralism, tolerance, and secularism, who are bringing their religious fundamentalism over here. And they are, and we did a show about this a week or two ago. They are not shy about the fact that they are trying to convert the West to Sharia law. That is not in dispute. They are profoundly homophobic as a culture. And I'm not saying don't allow Muslims to come in. What I'm saying is apply a values test to every single immigrant that comes into the West. I don't care where they're from, because you have to share our values of as I said, secularism, separation of church and state, respect for women, equality. You don't have to agree that homosexuality is a good thing, but if you think it should be criminalized, I don't want you in this in my country, right? You don't have to agree it's good. You can think it's a sin. That's fine. But if you think they should be put to death for it, I want to know that, because I don't want you in this country. And this is a serious problem, especially France is facing, and they go after the one person who's speaking out about this. I just think it stinks. I don't like this.
It's a great coincidence, right?
Yeah, exactly right. It's not
all a coincidence that, and she won the last time. Like, she had the most votes, because in France, compared to other countries, they go by round. So they have the first round because there's a bunch of people that are going to try to become prime minister. Then once they go for the first round. The more, if I remember correctly, the 3 most popular will go to the second round. Then the 2 most popular will go to the third round. And that's what happened. She won. She was the most popular one. So it's not a coincidence that they're going after her, because she is the voice of the non-woke left in France, not just the right winger. Anybody that doesn't agree with the left woke is somewhat agreeing with Le Pen, because she is not far right at all. The only reason she's far right is that there's nothing to the left of the woke left in France. There's nothing.
Yeah.
They're as left as they can get, because they're low. If you know anything about the French government, they are literally taxed more than in Canada. So they're as socialist as they come. And Le Pen, as you said, all she talks about is immigration, to say, let's make France French again. That's all she wants.
Yeah.
Oh, far right, what a fucking racist that woman is. Hold on here. That means there's a lot of fucking racists in France, because that means I would be part of them if I would be in France. So
yeah, it's I hate the timing. I don't like it. I think it stinks. If you let the people of France decide if they think that's her embezzlement. I mean, and even if you want to charge her for a crime, that's fine. Do not bar anybody from running. Do not bar anybody from running, because people have to decide, right? They need to let the people decide. That's the whole principle based on
if they want to vote for, air quote, a criminal, have them do it. Maybe that's what they fucking need.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what they need, is a fucking felon like they did in the US. Just saying. Maybe that's what they need.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the whole point. The whole point of democracy is you get to vote for who you want to. And if you, if you're willing to vote for a criminal because of the things they stand for, how bad is the other side, right? But they don't look at it that way. Like, they'll never look in the mirror. They'll never say we're so bad that someone that's convicted of a crime still got elected. They just want to take away the choice. They want to, and I just, again, I think it's wrong. I don't like it. All the timing is so suspect.
And just to put it into perspective for my Canadian friends out there, don't forget what we spoke about earlier, how Chiang went after his political counterpart, his conservative opponent, wanting him to get arrested, deported to China. Like, don't forget that. Don't think that this is a problem that's going on just in France and it's not happening here. So we have what it looks like in Macron getting Le Pen out so that she cannot run after him in the next election, or run for his role next election. And right here in Canada, you got MPs that are going after other MPs, not politically, not what they stand for and what they're going to do for the people, but trying to get them deported to China instead of competing with them. And we have a prime minister that saw no problem with that, because, you know what? He apologized to me and I think he's a good guy because he was a police officer. Yeah, fuck off. So don't think that it's just happening overseas. It's happening everywhere, Canada included.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll take a couple of these comments, and then we'll call her a day. So Tess says, I describe it as a pincher move on women. Both of these groups hate women and children, and both are racist. I believe we're talking about immigration here, or at least some types of immigration, and because in terms of war on women, kids, and ultimately it's a pincher move. We used to take in skilled immigrants and those truly escaping horror. And I agree with that. I have no problems with genuine asylum claims, but just by their nature, there should be very few of them, right? Coming from a poor country.
It's skilled labor. You want to have skilled labor. You want people that are bringing skills that we require in Canada. They're going to come here. Like, I don't give a fuck your color. I don't care where you're from.
It's not a charity.
But if you can bring something to this society, make it better somehow, we want you.
And don't get us wrong. Like, it is a partnership. There are responsibilities from the host country. It is our 100%. Duty to make newcomers feel welcome. Yes, of course. Give them the same opportunities as every other Canadian or American or wherever you're from. But it is not charity. We do not have to open the door for every single person. And seeking poverty, that is not an asylum claim. You know, there should be very few. What I want to see. I want to see an immigration system where you have educated people, skilled people, and young families. You know, if you're going to bring in people with no skills, no education, then make it young families. I don't care. I don't want young men 18 to 30. Like that is you. And throughout history, anytime a society has a large collection of unemployed, angry young men, 18 to 30, shit goes down south real bad, especially from countries that do not share our values. But if you come in here as a young family, husband, wife, kids, without knowing anything else, I know you probably share my values. I know our values are probably aligned just because of the nature of how families work. Right? You probably want a better future for your kid, just like I do, just like Nico does. You probably want a safe and like non-chaotic society. You're probably not out there on the streets, protesting for whatever problem is going on back in your home country. We do not give a shit. Don't bring that shit over here. And there's nothing wrong with saying that. That's not racist. Anyone who says it's racist can go get fucked. I'm not interested in that.
Take the last one. Take the last one. Take the last one.
The one right below it?
Because the last one right here. That is such a great point. I completely forgot about that. Not only did Carney do nothing about this Chinese MP that wants to imprison other people, that he didn't help those 4 Canadians that got murdered, and he's not helping the hundreds that are in prison. Carney flew to France as his first order of business after being put in place by the Liberal Party as prime minister to go see Macron, the same guy that just fucking removed his political opponent instead of going after her because he knows he can compete with her. He went to see him. That is such a great point. God damn, we got some smart fucking listeners.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Like, connecting some dots here. It doesn't.
I'm gonna make a conspiracy theorist out of you yet one day.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. Why did he do that? That's still not clear, right? Why Macron? And I believe Zelensky was over there too, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, of course. They were all crying together.
Part of that powwow. Yeah, I think that. I mean. Let's end on that. That's a great point. Again, we went a little bit over our 2 hour time.
Once again, we always go over. Our average is 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Excellent comment. Yeah, excellent comments from everybody. And I think that's a great spot to end on. We do always go over, but usually it's because we're engaging with the audience and stuff, and we'll never have an issue with that. So guys, if you do like the show, if you like the conversation, if you think it's useful and valuable, please like and share the stream, put a comment out there, say it's just something positive about the show. That's really the biggest thing we can ask for right now. Again, thank you so much for being here, for engaging with us. You guys really do make this show for us. You could have been anywhere in the world today, but you chose to be here with us, and we're always going to appreciate that. So until tomorrow, and we have a very special guest tomorrow. A very interesting expert on the Palestinian
Free Palestine movement out of Ottawa. His name's Chris Davey.
Yeah. So he's been there. He's kind of down there on the scene, filming a lot of the stuff. So he's got some. I mean, clearly he's going to have his own biases, and we'll point those out. And I'm sure he'll point those out too. But we're still going to hear what he has to say, and it'll be, I think, an interesting discussion. Nico, do you have anything to add on that?
No, thank you for being here, and we shall see you tomorrow.